Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We got Vasi there saying, "So it begins." Yes. So on today's live roundtable, which I stream this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 9 p.m. at GMT. I thought I would discuss, obviously, Justice League trailer. I want to talk about it. I want to talk about the new Godzilla vs. Kong teaser trailer as well. And then I guess go on to the topic of the fact that, hey, look, I mean, they released them both on the same day. It's an interesting marketing choice. I'm sure we can all agree with that. So that's the topic for today. I was due some guests, but they are overrunning with their own live stream. So it's not, whatever, I guess. If they drop on, they drop on. If not, it doesn't really matter because we can always talk. And I've got Jasper as permanent company anyway. And it also means I don't have to wear this stupid fucking headphone, because you have to wear headphones when you've got other guests on because it messes up when you have other people talking. But my camera has already bitched out. Fantastic. Love it. Great. So anyway, guys, if you didn't know what we're doing here, it's just a live stream. We have a topic to discuss. I get some thoughts from you guys. If you want your question answered immediately to sort of, contribute, also help keep the lights on, do the super chat function. That's what it's there for. And also as a bit of a PSA, follow me over on Instagram at Mr. H Reviews. It's the same thing as that there. And also Twitter is exactly the same as that there. And also we've got memberships open and Patreon down below in the description box. But let's go. Some people saying adverts. I didn't know there was adverts even on this, to be fair. So really what we're going to be talking about today is the Snyder Cut trailer. First and foremost, interesting response from it. Like very, very good viewership, I would say. For a Sunday, kicking over into a Monday, I would say that was pretty good viewership. A lot of people were really, really surprised. They weren't. It seems a lot of people who I thought would have got the joke, the sort of meme joke, didn't get the meme joke. Because I did the video, obviously, which I released yesterday. And a lot of people were genuinely really confused with why the Joker at the end was saying, we live in a society, and why I found that funny. Because it's a meme. And it would seem as well, this isn't a criticism, it would seem that Zack Snyder is well aware of that meme and has taken it in a very self-aware fashion. It's quite comical. Now, all in all, I think that the response to the trailer has been very positive. It's had 11 million views. I've just checked it. So it's had 11 million views, which is good. It is good. It's not great, though, and we have other metrics to compare it to. So it's not great. It's good, but it's not great. And because we are talking about Godzilla vs. Kong and the fact that they're both releasing within a week of one another on HBO Max, it's important to take a look at that. Because Godzilla vs. Kong had 24 or something like that million views in a 24-hour period, which was madness. That was insane. Like that's crazy. So I do think that the comparison between the two films is a valid comparison. Which we'll get on into a minute anyway, because it's not relevant to this initial part of the live stream. But it was a pretty damn decent trailer. It was all right. I did see an awful lot of things which were reminiscent of the original film in there, although some minor tweaks here and there. And we're in this kind of tricky spot with this film where you almost can't discuss it because people have hyped it up so much and they want it so badly that it is almost beyond reproach. I pointed out Cyborg's CG in one frame, which is god-awful. Like, it's god-awful CGI. And then with a direct comparison to his CGI later in the trailer, which is noticeably much, much better. Like, it's good CGI. But unfortunately, even pointing that out, people lost their minds. Like, as the Joker says, like, lost your damn minds. And it's not even subjective, you know, because if we're looking at it as a direct comparison between two scenes, same character, one's bad, one's good, that's not good. So it is interesting. It'll be interesting to see how this kind of moves forward. But I do think that the level of hype that this trailer and this overall movie has had will potentially do some damage to it, I think, just from the perspective of people not being, I guess, as potentially honest with themselves as they could be. You know, like to disregard the objective fact that in one scene CGI is worse than the other is a bit sad, really. Like, I get it. You can still be, you know, amped for it, but it's pretty bad. And I still have some issues with the CGI of Darkseid, and I'll include it over in as an overlay now, because it lacks a lot of texture. I think it lacks a lot of texture, and from a lighting perspective, it's not actually that good. Because if we're looking at it, if we're looking at where they are, and in the intro to this particular scene, which comes up in the trailer, they're in a big hall that is bright orange, right? They're bright orange. Now, either the hall is painted orange, right? So it's either painted orange, or there's sunset coming out from the lighting from the windows. So pray tell to me why each of these characters is backlit with bright white light. That doesn't make sense. And I just feel that there wasn't as much care and attention into this CGI as there potentially could have been. But again, I know this is blasphemy to a lot of people talking about this, because again, they've hyped this up. They've wanted this movie for so long, and I get that. I get the bias. I get that people really, really want it to be good. But yeah, like, I do feel that, you know, bright white light when the room is orange. If the room is painted orange, which is that's not the case. Or, I mean, there's orange light coming out from the outside, which is the more likely case. But anyway, again, it's not beyond reproach. There's definitely some issues with it. I'll get to some super chats real quick before we shuffle on. So we got Neon Arrakis for $5, keeping the lights on. Thank you so much. Mr. H, how do you stay focused, motivated, and optimistic nowadays in 2021? Been so black-pilled and down about everything. Well, yeah, look, I mean, let's take it down a notch. Let's be quite serious about this. I'm not overly optimistic about everything. I try really, really hard, actually, to be quite optimistic about stuff. Like, I get days when I'm down in the dumps and things like that. I do find, personally, having a really good routine matters. Setting an alarm clock, waking up, just making sure that you have a routine is really, really important to keeping busy and keeping your mind as focused as possible. Although I didn't have a good routine today because Jasper woke me up at 3 a.m. to go for a wee. Then he woke me up again at 4:30 a.m. to go outside and do some other business. Little piece of crap. Pissed me off. Didn't you, Jasper? Oh, sod. John McKenna, Mr. H, you are awesome. And I support your channel. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. And we've got one more super chat now from One Shot. I'm excited for the Snyder Cut. I think it will be good. But people are expecting Citizen Kane. They need to calm down. Exactly. Now, this is a good stance to have, right? This is a good stance to have. Because ultimately, look, I mean, it's not going to be Citizen Kane. Like, we are well aware of what Snyder has done with, you know, his own iterations of things like BVS. The director's cut of that, it doesn't make it that much better at all. It's still fundamentally the same movie. Now, obviously, this one is a little bit different because, you know, the original one was Justice League. But I'm more intrigued to see how this goes than anything else. It's good to see some of the DC characters in there that I didn't think would have been in there, like Granny Goodness and things like that. Like, that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it's not going to be Citizen Kane. It's just not. I don't think that's I don't think that's too inflammatory to say. But I know to some people it would be absolute blasphemy. But again, I'm more intrigued to see how it pans out than anything else. Like genuinely, just intrigued. Like how's it going to go? Is it going to get the reception that people think it is? And also, what do people think? Like the reception is going to be in general. Did you spot how Uber Turd is conspicuous by her absence in this trailer, almost as if they're leaving her out due to possible backlash? Yeah, but she's not a core member, is she? So I wouldn't say it's that much of a telling sign, my dude, John Davies. I wouldn't say it's too telling because she's not a member of the Justice League, and this is a Justice League trailer. So no, I don't think so. We'll see. I wouldn't read into that too much, though. Yeah, I really wouldn't read into that too much. Marcy D, Mr. H obliterated Uche. Well, thanks so much. I'm amazed you could even hear any of my points, to be fair, because I was just being spoken over all the time, which was massively frustrating. Ed Corona, we live in a society. This can't be unironic, right? They're definitely being self-aware with it. They really, really are. Absolutely. I don't know much about it, but Snyder Cut doesn't have a typical blockbuster movie budget. It's only 70 million. Of course, that's a lot, but it's low for a big movie. Maybe that's why the CG isn't great. Yeah, true. But then you need to ask the question, is it really worth it finishing it? If it's not going to be, again, because this is the thing, right? Like, by your own admissions, it's not what the budget should be. Yeah. So we can all agree with that. And so then a lot of people are saying, okay, well, it's his vision. But is it if they can't complete the CG to what it should be in a theatre? Is it really his true vision at that point? And I think that's an interesting question. Like, I don't have an answer either way, but I would be more leaning to the fact that it's not. And like I say, at that point, like, is it really worth it? You know, it's still not going to be the true vision. So yeah, who knows? Who knows? Whedon cut is trash. I don't know whether you're talking to someone in the chat. I've never said that it's good. In fact, I hated the original. I thought it was garbage. It was incredibly boring. It was incredibly boring. And I also, as well, I found it almost damn near offensive that it cost like $600 million or something insane, staggeringly high. I remember in my review, I was like, you could literally, like, you could cure Africa. It was a joke, but I was like, you could cure African debt with that because, yeah. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. So look, obviously, trailer reaction, the trailer response has been pretty good. Like, people like it. There's obviously people here defending it. I'm not invested either way, guys. Like, I don't really give a shit about it. I'm going to watch it because I'm intrigued, but I don't care. These are just objective observations about the trailer and about the movie. I'm not invested. I couldn't give a fuck either way. Genuinely couldn't care less. I always openly state where I'm biased. Godzilla versus Kong, I'm hugely biased on. I love giant monsters running around. I love it. I think it's great. Like, it sings to my inner child. 100% biased on it. Absolutely. Like, of course. But I'm also self-aware enough to know that the stories are absolutely dumb. Like, I get it. But they're also supposed to be dumb. They are self-aware enough to know that they are dumb stories. But yeah, I think people need to have a little bit more self-awareness when it comes to the Snyder Cut. You know, like, again, because I go back to the CG, the objective CG comment, not particularly the best. Joseph Pullen says us Brits will stream it totally legally. Yeah, probably not. In fairness, I think a lot of people will just be illegally downloading it. But as well, like, how's it going to do even when it comes to HBO Max? And there was a report today to say that it's going like 4 hours. 4 hours is a bloated movie, right? That it's bloated. There's a lot going on in there. So it'll be interesting to see how it comes together. I'm more interested in just the spectacle than anything else. But then we come on to our second trailer of Sunday, right? Now, again, just as a round out for the Snyder Cut, I think those people that were excited for the Snyder Cut watched that trailer and they were amped. I don't think it got many people on board who weren't amped. And I've read some of the comments. A lot of people feel that way. So for people that are on board with it, they were on board with it anyway. But those that are not, they were like, fine, whatever. So it didn't do what it set out to do. It didn't achieve what it set out to achieve, which is to get people on board. Not everyone anyway, which no trailer is going to, but you get my point. Paddy's Pub, brand new member. Thank you so much, dude. Really appreciate that. When did H take with Uche? No, talk with Uche. And I did it last week on Midnight's Edge. It's on their channel. It was just a live stream. He was invited on and he, I will say no more. But anyway, so I can't remember where I was now. What was I saying? So I don't know whether it did a great deal of things for people that were not particularly on board anyway. And the Joker was very interesting. I go back to that Joker thing at the end because he fundamentally seems to be a different character than from Suicide Squad. Like, fundamentally seems to be a different character at this point, which I think is good, actually. Like, I'm more intrigued to see how the Joker turns out than anyone else. Because I think... I don't like Jared. I made no qualms about it. Again, I'm open and honest where I don't like certain things. Jared Leto's Joker in Suicide Squad, to me, was trash. Like, that's just my honest opinion. I thought it was trash. I thought it was garbage. And the jury's out on whether this is a good iteration yet, but it's a different iteration, or it seems to be a different iteration. So I'm intrigued to see how it goes, because he's playing the character differently. But I didn't like the inflection at the end of his little speech when he says, we live in a society, blah, 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 chaos, blah, blah, blah. Isn't that right? A Batman. Like, he almost lowered his voice as if he was doing a Batman voice. And I was like, what are you doing, mate? Is that how you always talk? Like, I get, like, you're in the desert. It's a bit sandy. Do you want me to pass you a glass of water? Like, what is it? You got a frog in your throat? Like, what is it? So, yeah, it was quite funny, to be fair. It was comical. But speaking to a few other people about that is they seem all right, interested, sort of, maybe, about it. This is the thing. People that are on board for it seem really on board. Those that were indifferent are, again, they're still kind of indifferent. So, yeah, we shall see. Leto's Joker deserves redemption. Yeah, I mean, look, hey, I don't think it deserves redemption. In fairness, he's getting another chance, and hopefully, doesn't squander it. I think is the main thing. Did they change up Steppenwolf at all in the trailer? Well, he's completely different rendering. He doesn't look like Dobby the house elf now, so that's good. Uche was on Midnight's Edge today. I found him to be arrogant, and I disagreed with him on most topics. Well, look. I don't want to speak about the guy because he's not here to defend himself. But when we were talking about the Gina Carano situation, he ended up pulling, essentially what can only be described as pulling the race card, which was really, really irritating and infuriating. Stating that we live in a society now where he's been ripped out of his car because of the way he looks, and I'm just like, well, it's not that. What's that got to do with Gina Carano, mate? So fundamentally flawed when it came to debating, which was a shame, really. And he just kept talking over me, which was quite frustrating. Very, very frustrating. And I really, really hate when Americans go to, well, you're not here, man. It's like, I lived in the States. I lived in the States for 5 years. I'm well aware of like, I'm not obviously acclimatized as much as guys that are permanent residents, but I have lived there for quite some time. And I always get infuriated by that. Teague. Is it Teague? If not, I've butchered that and I do apologize. I feel that the internet's reaction to this movie is going to be similar to The Last Jedi. It's good. People are going to find a way to bring it down. Oh, sorry. But if it's good, people are going to find a way to bring it down. Worse if it's bad. Hope we get OG Sonic cut. But what? The Last Jedi was... Well, I didn't like The Last Jedi. I don't think it wasn't really hard to bring it down. Like, it kind of wrote itself, really, the criticisms. I'm a bit confused by that, but thank you so much anyway. Look, you're more than entitled to like it. Like, fine. Like I never tell someone they can't like stuff. This is my platform. I'm just giving my opinion on stuff. You come here for my direct opinion, right? On some things, anyway, I'm sure. Marshmallow, Lito's delivery reminded me of Jeremy Clarkson. Really? I've not thought of that comparison yet. That's interesting. Huh. Interesting. Mr. H wielded the Mjolnir on Uche on the stream. Uche stood no chance. Fuck's sake. We can stop. We can stop talking about Uche. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Where the hell were you? Uche was going off unopposed on Midnight Sage. They didn't invite me. So I would imagine that's probably why. Oh, dear. This is a common question, which I feel like I should cover because I'm live here talking to you. And we'll move on to Godzilla vs. Kong in a second. And then, like, talking about the trailer, and then we'll talk about the comparison between the two and whether there's anything going on there and whatever. Anyway, we can watch past live streams. Only select ones stay up on the channel. So only ones where I feel like some get taken down. So the Gina Carano one got taken down. That's fine, whatever. You use the word Yahtzee too much, not that word, but what sounds like it. Use it too much, YouTube throws a hissy fit and will take stuff down. But the ones which I feel are good, they're a good stream. I think that they're good. I think that the questions were good. I think that my sort of rhetorical conversation, or if I don't have guests and things like that, if I feel it's good and I feel it's good enough for people to watch back, then I'll leave it on. I've been doing that recently, actually quite a bit, but I won't leave them on if I don't think that they're good enough, because I don't want to provide shit content to you, basically. Yeah, that's bad. I don't do that. So yes, there's been a whole bunch of live streams that have stayed up on the channel lately. Just not all of them. So yeah. I've got a few super chats I need to get to. Hey, Mr. H, it's not topic related, but I can't say that. More people are getting depressed, including me. I know people in my circle who wanted to commit suicide. I can't say that either. God damn it, I shouldn't have said it. Due to current situation with lockdowns. This stream will probably get taken down now that I've said some dodgy stuff. Look, yes, you are completely right. With respect to the adverse effects, and I've always said this, and I repeat it, and I'll say it again. You can't disagree with it because it's an objective fact. The repercussions that these are having is not due to the virus; it's due to policy on the virus. So never allow any politician or government official in your area to pass blame. It's not the virus; that it's policies pertaining to the virus which they chose to put in power. There are always other options. And unfortunately, we followed the communist China model. I've never understood that. I will never understand that. It's baffling and it's bizarre. And just like you, there have been loads and loads of people that have committed suicide. Suicide in the UK is the highest it's been for 20 years. And it's terrifying. I don't think that's not dramatic to say. It is terrifying. It's dangerous and it's not good. So chin up, dude. It's one of the reasons why I do these live streams, because I want people to have something to look forward to periodically during the week. So just keep joining these and chin up, mate. Marcos A. Mr. H. Hail the round table. What's your thoughts on Warner Brothers dropping the Kong versus Godzilla second trailer during the buzz with Justice League? So we're going to get onto that in a minute, actually. So this super chat, thank you so much for it. I'm not going to answer immediately because that's going into the topic which we'll cover after we've generally discussed the GVK trailer. But again, thank you so much, man. You're ahead of me because that is literally what we're going to touch on soon. Birdboy82, we've got a brand new channel member. Thank you so much. If you want to support the channel, guys, we've got memberships ranging from 99p, 99 pence, all the way upwards. So you can support the channel in any way, which way, and you do get some benefits for that. It's for those that don't want to use Patreon, because Patreon, deplatforms people because they're a bunch of ballbag dipshits. Finbar White for £5. Even a mistake. Hope you're okay. Are you hoping the Kong vs Godzilla longer than 5 minutes It's been good to see a proper fight. So keep smiling. Thank you so much. So we know that the end fight, the final fight sequence, is a full-blown 5 minutes solid. That's a long time, actually. That is a really long time. People hear 5 minutes and they think it's small, but that's actually a really, really long time. Like, genuinely, just to sit there and watch something, two creatures going at it, 5 minutes is a good long time. But we also know that they're going to be fighting numerous times before that as well, in the ocean, things like this. So there'll be a lot more than just 5 minutes. Don't you worry, good sir. And yes, keep smiling. MJ Jones, hope you enjoyed the Muto Prime info. I actually still haven't had a look at it. I've been rammed off my feet, but thanks so much, Mario. I do remember your name. And yes, I do remember that you sent me those things. So I will get to it, I promise. And now we have Andre. He's finally bothered to join because he was overrunning. How's it going?
It's going good, thank you. How about yourself?
Yeah, good. What did you send me on Twitter?
I actually meant to send that somewhere else. I meant to send that to the private chat to the other thing, but I had like several windows open at once.
Yeah, I thought so. Never mind.
So yeah.
So we're talking about two things today. I've just given my general thoughts on the Justice League trailer. Then I'm going to give. I want to hear yours now. But then we're going to talk about the Godzilla vs Kong teaser 2, and then we're going to talk about the fact that they've been released within, well, not that much time of one another, and obviously the implications behind that. So we live in a society. Andre, what did you think of the Justice League trailer?
I liked it. I have to say that. I wasn't a huge fan of what Snyder was doing at the time, but I have come to retroactively be one. Not like a huge fan, but I've come to retroactively appreciate it much more. Okay. After it was completely derailed. So I do look forward to the movie. And what I look forward to the absolute most about it is the nightmare sequence, the Mad Max Batman. And that is where the Joker scene you referenced, we live in a society.
Well, that was
taken from. That's what I liked the most.
Shit right there, wasn't it?
Actually, I wasn't aware of this. We live in a society meme. I can tell you.
There's so many people that have no idea, and I'm like, of course. To me, it's obvious, but then there's so many people that are like, no, I don't get it. I'm like, what? You're one of the people that I thought should
no. Actually, that's only a partial truth, because I knew of the existence of something, and you know why? Because of epic rap battles of history. Because I don't know, a year ago or something, they released like this rap battle between the Joker and the clown Pennywise, the clown from It. That was actually really, really good and incredible performances, especially the guy who plays it. But anyway, never mind.
Yeah.
A line in there is basically with Joker taking the piss out of Pennywise, saying like in the novel there's like too much underage sex, and like get the hell out of that, because like we live in a society, and there was so much emphasis on the line, we live in a society.
It sort of clicked when you heard it then.
That I didn't bother looking it up, but I noticed right there and then there is more to this line. With this line here, there is something. And then when he said the exact same line, then it clicked instantly. That's the same thing that they said in the epic rap battles of history. So I don't know exactly what is associated with the line, we live in a society. But I know there's something. There is some kind of meme going on here. So it instantly clicked that they're doing the same thing that they did way back in X-Men 3, when they had what's his name again? Not Vin Diesel, but the other Vin, the like football player in Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels and stuff. The guy who played Juggernaut.
Vinnie Jones.
Vinnie Jones, thank you. When they had him say, I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
Yeah.
I noticed that, okay, here's like some kind of meme thing going on, although I'm not familiar with the details of the we live in a society. And then, of course, I've researched it more, and I agree it should have been said by Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, well, yeah, absolutely. So what did you think of the trailer on a whole? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I liked it.
Did
I liked it.
you? Well, give me your a little bit deeper
Uh,
thought with that. There must be some things that you critiqued.
yeah, yeah. What I
I mean,
critiqued.
I picked up on the CG a lot, which
Yeah,
someone here is saying, can someone super chat him this? They had only 8 months to work on the CG. Give them some slack? Question mark? Question mark? No, I don't think you should, because this is, remember, being touted as Zack Snyder's vision. So if that's what Zack Snyder wanted for CG, then I mean that's not good, right? We can't just blow smoke up Zack Snyder's ass just because he's getting this film out. That's wrong. Like,
actually,
I
I
do
will.
think that Zack Snyder's been through a tough time, and I'm glad that he's doing this film. Like, I genuinely do. But the CG is an issue, and just to whitewash it and be like, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. No, that's counterproductive. It's massively counterproductive.
Yeah, and but you asked for more detailed thoughts. Yeah, okay, I have two.
Okay,
I
go
have
on.
actually I have a couple, but the first ones that comes to mind is that the first thing we see is like a real slow-mo image of Superman getting stabbed in Batman v Superman, and you have like him screaming, so you see like the sound waves coming out. And
Oh,
I
is that the
had two.
sound waves? Is it then?
I imagine it must be sound waves.
That's a good interpretation. I didn't see it like that, actually.
Uh,
I
maybe
wrongly
it
thought that was
isn't.
him coming back to life as well, but I only watched BVS once.
Yeah.
I didn't bother
No,
watching
no, no. To me,
the
it
ultimate cut, but
to me it looked a lot like that's the moment
yeah.
that he's being stabbed, and we're like captured in that moment, and we see the sound
Mm.
waves of his scream. That's how I
Yeah, I like
interpreted
that.
it,
No, that's
and
a good interpretation. I like that.
my thought was that it's like, whoa, this is the single most Zack Snyder shot of all Zack Snyder shots there have ever been. So that
Yes,
was my
slow
first
mo,
thought. Yeah,
the washed out, if you know the sort of CG effects over it. Yeah, that's very it is
and the
very
dramatic
Snyder.
flare, like it looked like captured in a moment, caught on
Yes,
film.
yeah, it
And
is. Yeah, it's good.
and I thought that was cool. So that was my first thought. The second is that that shot is actually in the IMAX format. And then I was like
Mm.
thinking, why the hell do we have IMAX formats in this thing here? Like, actually, for this, I honestly wish
The whole
that
film is
they
in
would.
IMAX, mate. That's going to be the ratio it's in, dude.
Well, as long as they're consistent. If they want to film the whole thing in IMAX, I have no complaints. My complaints is if you have like one scene in IMAX, you have like the
Mm.
switching budget ratios. I guess that's like fine enough in an IMAX theater. It's like a fun little gig there. But honestly, I hate it when they bring that to home theaters. Anyway,
Yeah,
so yeah,
yeah,
if the whole thing is an IMAX, then go for it. Then that's
yeah.
that one complaint removed.
Okay.
And other than that, I am. It was very interesting to see like more of the alternative shots. I think that the color timing is much more visually appealing here because
Mm.
now you have the original cinematography and the colors that everything were designed around. Because I
Mm.
always thought that the Joss Whedon cut of the movie, the one where they altered the coloration, was ugly,
Yeah.
really ugly, because you had like designs that were made to be in this particular color, and then they changed the color, and the end result was just horrendous.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah, and other than that, honestly, I don't really remember too much of the specific footage. I thought that the narrative in the trailer wasn't all that. Steppenwolf has a much more intriguing design than he did the last time, and
I don't I don't like his design. But I've not liked either of them. So in fairness, I'm just being a bit difficult to please because in the original, the Justice League one, he just looked like Dobby the house elf on roids. I hated it. Absolutely thought it was garbage. This one I feel like it's too shiny and it's a bit Bayformers like,
I
sort
don't
of
like any of
jaggedy and
them.
stuff.
Yeah, I don't like any of them either. But of the
Yeah.
two, I prefer this one.
Yeah, no, I mean it's more. Yeah, you're right. Well, you are right. Like it's more intriguing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I mean, like you, Yeah, no,
Like the one in the Joss Whedon, and that was so generic, wasn't
it was
it?
awful. Look at
So
Dobby the house elf on roids. It looked trash. It looked
yeah.
absolute trash.
And other than that, it's like all good. And honestly, like I don't even I haven't seen it since yesterday, so there's a few shots that stand out to me. The biggest standout was like after we get like the title and get like this little end stinger from the Mad Max Batman sequence with Ben Affleck's Batman and Joaquin Phoenix Joker version 2.0 in the newly filmed scenes.
Yeah, I mean that's really compelling. That stuff is very compelling. Like I want to see more of that.
That's what we were saying. That's what we were saying. It says yes to everything. Like that's the movie that I honestly wanted.
Just give me that.
Give me Mad Max Batman.
Yeah, just literally just that. Just give me that.
And you know what the tragedy was? Zack Snyder's original intention, as I understood it, for the 2-part Justice League. Again, I'm going to spoil what his plan was because we're not getting that plan. But his original plan, when Batman v Superman ended, and before they made the Justice League movie they made, was that it was supposed to be Justice League Part 1 and Part 2. And what would happen in Justice League Part 1 is that Batman would try to assemble the team. He would have like this premonition, this nightmare, and he would like feel that the shit's gonna go down. And then Darkseid comes, and he basically takes over the world and makes it the Mad Max hellhole. So that's reality. It's no dream. That happens. And the rest of Justice League Part 1 is Batman trying to scrape together the Justice League and manage to survive in the desolate post-apocalyptic world. And that would continue into part 2, where there was going to be like an element of injustice with the evil Superman and all of that stuff. I don't know the details. And then there's some kind of like time travel thing or something where they're able to go back, they're able to change everything, but Batman has to save himself, so he dies. And that was going to be Justice League Part 1 and Part 2. So for a very good chunk of it, we would be getting this whole Mad Max Batman sequence that was going to be maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours spread over 2 movies.
Well, but let's see how much of it we get. Let me just get to this super chat real quick. Mac Lee says, "Great channel, love your work. Thank you so much for the £5 keeping the lights on here. Love your work. Really enjoying your Alien ISO playthrough. Any other games you're looking forward to?" I've had Cyberpunk since the day of release, and I've still not played it because I only typically play games on the channel for the channel. Those that are channel members and also patrons will know I've been playing Doom Eternal. That's going great. It's a hell of a time. People seem to love it. And Alien Isolation was just a fun little thing to do on a Sunday because, again, it's about routine. Like as a previous super chat asked about routine, how do you keep positive and optimistic and things, is just trying to keep a good routine and making sure I release certain things on certain days really helps me out as well. So I don't have any other plans yet, but I'm open to suggestions. So let me know. And I think there was another new channel member as well, but I think this is scrolled. Jake, we've got a brand new channel member, Jake. And if someone else did that, I do apologize because it's scrolled down a bit too far. So it sounds, I mean, look, I think you sound a bit like me, intrigued to see how it goes.
Oh, yeah.
But not hugely looking forward to it. Would that be a right assessment?
That is a right assessment. I am intellectually, intellectually intrigued. I am emotionally satisfied that the fans won out. Although that was coincidental, let no one be deluded by that. This happened only because of AT&T, and they decided that, hey, we actually can use this to push HBO Max. That's why we're getting this. There's a massive civil war within AT&T and the different divisions over it going on there. But still, I'm intrigued by it, and I actually I do kind of look forward to it, and especially the nightmare sequence. I hope it will be longer than the new footage suggests
Yeah,
it will be.
yeah. The nightmare sequence, I'm genuinely looking forward to.
I only wish that it was longer.
Well, I don't know how long it's
Told
supposed to be.
we've been told how much new footage has been filmed
How
by
much?
the different 4 minutes.
Oh, fucking what?
4 minutes.
Ah, that's poo. I was expecting it to be. That's lame.
Well,
Never mind.
actually, it could be. What we know is that Jared Leto has
It's
four
only in it.
minutes of
Yeah.
4 minutes of Joker in it. So maybe the whole sequence is longer, but he has 4 minutes of it.
Yeah.
Which, to be fair, is almost what he had in Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Beatus man, or I guess I should probably say beta man. Both of these tits are giving biased statements, give facts. You're literally here to have a conversation. So, yeah, we are giving our biased statements. That's the entire point. If you don't like it, just fuck off. Like, it's real simple, mate. Like, it's not hard. You are here listening to two friends have a conversation about two topical movie things. Beta man, be gone. Just thought I would address that for anyone that seems to be a bit confused with what this is. We are just having a discussion. You're along for the ride. That's what this is, and you can include yourself in it by leaving stuff, and we'll get to comments here, there, and everywhere. There you go. But we have given a speculation there. Apparently, there's 4 minutes of extra footage. So there you go. You've got some facts.
There's 4 minutes of Joker, and we don't know how many there are of Mera, of Amber Heard. But there's new scenes of her as well. I'm looking significantly less forward to that. But that's how it is.
So someone I apologize, I can't remember who said it earlier on, and I think it was in a super chat. It was in a super chat. I can't remember who it was, so I do apologize because Google just wipes them. But someone did a super chat earlier on, which they said they basically said, look, Amber Heard's not in the trailer at all. Is that them doing damage control? And I was like, well, probably not, because she's not actually a member of the team. But what's your opinion on that?
I don't. I think that they want to save some surprises, because like they filmed the three main actors they filmed new scenes with was Ben Affleck, Jared Leto, and Amber Heard. I think they don't want to give everything new away in this trailer. I think they want
that makes
to.
Sense, of course.
Because
for a 4-hour movie, mate, they'd be hard pressed to give everything away, wouldn't they? Let's be honest.
Yeah, but if you just show her, just by showing her and where she is, you'd be giving away some spoilers.
Oh, okay. Well, what's that pertaining to then? Do you know? Are you aware?
I do know.
Oh, well, don't. Tell me after. Tell me after.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
All right. Yeah, that's fine. All right. And now then. Have you seen the Godzilla versus Kong teaser trailer? Have you seen that?
Yes, I have, because there's
what did you think?
Well, it looks cool, but what stood out to me more than that trailer itself, as you pointed out, and I believe I was like one of the first to point this out, because I was actually on the stream discussing the Snyder Cut trailer when it dropped, and I was like, wait, we have breaking news. They just released this on the official legendary Twitter account. Why the hell would they do that?
I know.
to steal the thunder of the Snyder Cut? Of course, that's why.
Honestly, so first and foremost, we'll get to that, but I want to hear your thoughts on it first, because I want to talk about this as well, and I want to get guys in the chat to talk about it. What are your thoughts on the actual teaser? Because there was a lot more footage, and I think that they've been very wise about how they're showing stuff. So what did you think? What's your thoughts on it?
I would never ever in hell have imagined that I would be excited for a Godzilla versus Kong movie, but I am. I was
Don't be so surprised.
I was like on board from the previous trailer, and this thing here, it didn't really change anything. I'm still on board. It was like, cool, bring the movie on. Like, what date is it? Oh shit, another like 5 weeks to go. Oh well, I think we'll make it. So I was like, "Whoa! Look at all of this! Oh, hey, Latino Slant is in the chat. Awesome to see her as well. I try to bring people with me from our show that ran late. So yeah, but yeah, no, I really enjoyed. Enjoyed that footage, but again, I soured on it a little bit because I recognized that this was used as a weapon to steal the thunder from the Snyder Cut trailer.
I know we'll get on that. I've got so much stuff I want to talk about with this trailer. Do you not have anything else that you want to talk
about? No, I have to rewatch it then because
okay,
honestly,
right. Well, yeah. I'm going to get on it then because
go for it.
They were one. The CG is simply like mind blowing. They have done such an incredible job with the CG, and like in fairness, they should have done because they've been delaying this movie out the arse, so they've had so long to get it right. But the CG is truly phenomenal. Like it is fantastic. If you go to the face of Kong, and you have a good look at it, there's so much texture. So much texture in the face of Kong, and they've done such a good job there. Now, what I found interesting about this new trailer is that they're doing what they did with the previous, the previous movie, Godzilla King of the Monsters. They'll show some scenes in the original trailer, and then for the teaser, what they'll do is they will then subsequently expand on the scenes that they've already shown. Like, a 5 seconds here and 5 seconds there and a little bit of second here, which is quite smart, Obviously, for King of the Monsters, they did too much and they ended up showing, basically the majority of the movie in the teasers and the trailers because it was just so much crap that they showed. But what they've done here is really smart, and they're framing Kong. So we had that opening first trailer, right? Kong beaten down, great. Kong's the champion there, right? So that got obviously all the normies on board because Kong is more wider. I keep saying this, but people always seem surprised. Kong is more appealing to the wider audience. It genuinely is. It's why it's the highest grossing MonsterVerse movie because the wider audience prefers Kong. Godzilla's a niche, and I know that's blasphemy, but it's genuinely the case. So they got everyone on board for the first trailer because Kong beat down Godzilla in that trailer, or seemingly beat him down. Then in the Japanese trailer, which obviously not a lot of people are going to be watching that watched the first trailer because that's how it works. It's a Toho specific one. Fucking Godzilla bitch slapped Kong and absolutely had him on the back foot. Now for these teaser trailers that they're dropping, the teaser trailer 2, they have again Kong on the back foot again. Now this one will be more accessible to people that are, the sort of normies. But what they're doing is really, really smart. Because they're still showing Kong in a sympathetic manner. So they show him on the top man on the first trailer. And then they show him being much more sympathetic to the human characters in this teaser trailer 2. But they're still giving the Godzilla fans what they want, which is to see Kong being beaten down. And it's very, very smart marketing. From a marketing perspective, it is incredibly smart. And that's outside of all of the stuff which is actually in the trailer. Just that alone is fantastic. It's really, 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 really smart. I don't know if you'd noticed that at all.
I hadn't. See, that's why you need to comment on it.
Oh, okay.
Well, there you go. Went straight over my head.
Okay. Well, now I've said it, I guess, do you appreciate it a little bit? Do you see it?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. And now when you point it out, I do see it. But I'm not nearly as tuned into like the intricacies involved with Godzilla and Kong and the fights between them as you are. But now when you point it out, I see it, and I very much so appreciate it. What I also really appreciate are your observations on the CGI. I will say that this King Kong that we're getting right now, which follows the design from King Kong in Skull Island, is the best King Kong we've ever had.
Yeah,
by
it really
far.
is. It
And
really is.
yeah, and what I really appreciate with that design, again, this design is carried on from the Skull Island design, so it's kind of like that design that I really appreciate. And that is that here they actually went back to the original 1933 classic, and they just updated how he looks there, because I thought that that was like the mistake that they made in Peter Jackson's movie, where they just made him
an actual giant gorilla.
yeah, exactly, a regular gorilla. He was just like really, really blown up.
Yeah.
Whereas here they have made him a different species.
Yeah, his own thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, I really do appreciate that. Real quick, Bird Boy for €10, I think. Hello, guys. I watched Justice League just because I love DC and Batman, but my vote goes to GVK. It's something new and epic looking. By the way, have you seen Swordsman 2020? Korean movie, worth a shot. I would say cheers. Haven't seen it, but I will take a look. Have you heard of Swordsman?
I have. I have heard of it. It's a movie that is very high up on my want to see watch list, which is a very long list. I'm sorry to report, but anyway, yes, I fully intend to see that movie. I've only heard good things about it, so I do want to see it. It seems very intriguing.
What is it about specifically?
I think it's like an interwoven story of, like, I think it's 3 different swordsmen, and how they interact. Like, one is blind in one eye, and one is like aging or something, I think, because he was like the best swordsman in the previous dynasty, and he wants to be in the next and another one, and then their stories interweave or something. I haven't seen it, but it's something like that. And the Koreans generally are really good with their movies.
Ellie Moses as well says, morning H and Andre, hope you guys are well. They need to stop showing more of a GVK, especially with over a month out, even though it looks awesome. Yeah, I don't think we'll get that much more now, in fairness. There's not that much time to be revealing stuff. Lady Ruskelin says, I've thought the CGI on all the MonsterVerse films had been next level. Snyder should take notes. We've got Tom O here as well. How you doing, Tom?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Yeah, good, thank you. Obviously, you know how Andre is doing, unless he's drastically had a change of emotion since he's been streaming with me.
I hope not.
Yeah,
I hope not as well. That'd be quite bad.
No. Not a lot has happened last 20 minutes, so I'm still much as the last time we spoke.
So, well, Tom, now we've got you. What did you think of the Justice League trailer? And then we'll move on to GVK.
The Justice League trailer? Well, there was a tweet that actually summed up my feelings on the trailer pretty good. If you don't mind me sharing it real quick.
Yeah, go on.
Share screen. Boom, boom, boom. There you go.
So and awesome at the same time. I can't wait to have conflicted feelings yet again when the movie releases. Yeah.
That's pretty much how I feel. I'm hoping it's good, but yeah, that's about how much faith I have in it.
Well, I know Robert Meyer Burnett sent out a tweet which I replied to, because he was like, it looks like the most metal movie ever, and I was like, Spinal Tap would disagree.
Because Spinal Tap goes to 11.
Well, yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I thought it was funny. Marshmallow still need to watch Koyaanisqatsi. Yeah, I don't know what that is actually, but yes.
And I actually still need to watch Spinal Tap. I've seen the Norwegian remake of it.
You need to. It's very good.
Yeah.
So thoughts on GVK, Tom? Because I've still got loads to talk about.
Oh, I agreed with you 100% on your take you just presented to Andre on the trailer. They know exactly what they're doing. They're catering to both sides perfectly.
It's expertly done.
Yeah.
Like, it really is.
And I am so worried about Kong. Like, I do not want to see that little girl cry.
But that means that they've really done it. Like, they've achieved it, you know? Like, because it's just, you know the universe anyway, like whether you're like a major fan or not, you still know the universe. But think about all the normies that are going to be watching this. They're going to be thinking exactly the same thing.
Oh yeah, it's genius.
Which is great. It's so smart. It really, really is. Yeah, I love it. And goddamn, the CGI is just so fucking good. Like it's superb.
Yeah, so far what I've seen, I can't really complain about. Of course, I do have to note that the CGI that I saw in the Justice League trailer also looked pretty good, especially compared to
Really?
what we got in the original Justice League movie and recently
But
with Wonder
well, but
Woman.
but neither of those are good. You don't compare it to shit CGI. Like that's not a good. That's setting the bar quite low. Let's compare it to GVK. Good CGI, right? Let's compare it to something good because otherwise you're setting the bar low.
There was a
and,
couple shots that stood out to me. Other than that, I don't know. I'd have to rewatch the Justice League trailer again because I watched that Kong stuff like 3 more times than I did the Justice League one. But yeah.
So one thing I would say that I pointed out because I had a phone call with my my production manager for my studio earlier today. And I spoke to him about this, and I was like, rewatch the trailer, right? Rewatch the trailer when Darkseid appears in the hall. His hands don't move at all. They don't move. He is like an original He-Man doll with zero articulation. And I compare that, and again, some people are going to really like it, and some people are going to really hate it, but I compare that to, say, Kong, and the fluid motions that they've really thought about where, you know, he's kind of shaking off his shoulder, ready to strike again. Do you know what I mean? There are all these little subtle nuances.
To be fair,
all that Darkseid does is just waddle into frame with his imaginary lats and stand there.
To be fair, I watched the Justice League trailer on my phone, and I watched the Kong trailer on my computer, which is a 4K monitor. So, if I watch it on a bigger screen, it might not hold up. I will say that, but yeah.
Well, I would strongly encourage it. Again, there's some stuff which worked, like, but there's some things which are clearly still not as fully rendered because there's a shot of it's the shot of Cyborg with the shoulder cannon and his hands changed into weapons. That CG is awful. It's so bad, and it's so blatantly bad because later in the trailer we get him looking good with CG, and so when you compare the two up against one another, you're like, oof, what happened with that scene? You know, is it fully rendered? Is that what it's supposed to be like now? Is it because they couldn't finish it on time? Like, what is it? But yeah, comparing the two is oof, real bad.
Well, I remember the shot where Batman's standing on top of the tank looked okay.
Yeah, but again, this is what I mean. There's and
there was a shot where Wonder Woman was flipping that looked pretty good, and all the Superman stuff looked pretty good.
So I think isn't the Wonder Woman stuff flipping? Isn't that in the original fight, which they retextured the background?
Maybe, but I was told, or at least that's what they were implying, is that the nothing in this movie is going to be from the Joss Whedon Justice League. So,
well, no, because we also see the bomb, which had originally been thrown up out of the building, blow up in the building, which actually implies that she failed to save people, which is a bit dumb.
Yeah, until I see it, though, yeah, I don't know. I'll watch it again here in just a moment. When we get a brief moment, I can check it out.
True. So anyway, now I guess let's get on to another part of what this stream was called about, which is the fact that they dropped them both on the same bloody day.
Yeah, to me, that is what really stood out more than anything else.
Yeah, I was genuinely surprised because I did my Justice League stuff. I buggered off upstairs. I was ready to go to sleep. I was chilling with Jasper upstairs, right? I was hanging out. It was good. And then people were like, "Oh, there's Godzilla. Why aren't you?" I was like, "What? What? Oh, for God's sake!" Like, I came back downstairs. I'm like, "Well, I'm going to do a video on it." And obviously, I over analyze these things. So, like, that 1 minute of footage became a nearly 18-minute long video. But I was so shocked. I was so shocked. So shocked.
Yeah, you can hear our reactions in the live stream because we did them live. Like, guys, we have breaking news here, and I can't believe this. But yeah,
legendary done put the put the ball down, didn't they? Just crazy.
Legendary did Snyder and AT&T a dirty one.
Yeah, so that's interesting because Barry the Speedster is saying, "Oh, it's because of Warner Brothers." It's not. Warner Brothers are just distributing Godzilla vs. Kong. They didn't make it. Legendary made it, and Legendary released this trailer. But I do wonder whether there's any input from Warner Brothers here. What do you think?
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if someone at Warner Brothers said, you know, the AT&T guys, they just dropped the Snyder thing today. let's put out the Godzilla versus Kong thing and try to sabotage a little bit. I would not be surprised in the slightest.
The thing that's stupid though is
if they did
HBO
that.
Max benefits both ways in the end. That's the problem that I either see with that.
Yeah, of course. But I think there's two possible avenues down here, isn't there? Right? There's the avenue that because AT&T have pissed off Legendary so much because they have, right? They were almost go to court because of it. You've got the avenue that Legendary just decided, I'll tell you what we're going to do, guys. We're going to piss all over your bonfire right now. We're going to rain on your parade. We're just going to release the trailer because we've seen the response. It's had well over 50 odd million bloody views of the first trailer. We're just going to do it. Who cares? Whatever. Sod yourself, right? That's one avenue. Absolutely one avenue. And I think there's a strong legitimate argument for that as well because of what happened with AT&T just going, yeah, we'll just release it all on HBO Max, whatever. And Legendary going, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? That's our movie. You can't do that. And then there's the other avenue, which is, like an internal, sort of a compromised internal system with Warner Media or Warner Brothers going, yeah, we'll just do this. Please release it. Just release it. Why not? Like, let's get that going as well because it's all around the same time. So some people will think about it and some people won't. Who cares?
No,
go ahead. Carry on, Tom.
No, I was just going to say the same thing basically I said before. So, like, I just don't understand why you would do something that's just going to benefit HBO Max, especially if you're Legendary and you're already pissed off at them. It just, I don't know. Some of it don't make sense to me.
Well, because we still don't know what deal they've got in place. Do we?
That could be that. I mean, that's the only thing I could see is any kind of like incentive.
Honestly, it doesn't even have to be Legendary. It could be all Warner here. That Warner says, "Hey, Legendary guys, do us a solid. Can you drop that the 60-second thing you've been working on? Drop it now." Because Warner are the ones that have that are really against the Snyder Cut. They are the ones that hate it and basically want to see it fail as badly as possible. So
yeah, but I still
think
just
it has
I don't know.
more to do with them than the Legendary. I think the Legendary here is just a tool being used.
The only other thing I could think of is Legendary was involved with like Man of Steel and I think BBS, if I'm not mistaken, originally.
Really?
Yeah, they were originally part of that stuff, and then they weren't anymore. Yeah. Wow. I don't know why everybody keeps forgetting that. The Legendary logo is in front of Man of Steel, and I believe it's in front of BBS too.
Huh. All right. No. I mean, noted. I genuinely.
But they did fall out. They had a falling out with Warner Brothers, and then they came back together with the Kong thing. See, that was the thing I was talking about.
Yeah, because they were going to partner with Universal for Kong. Yeah,
that was the thing. Is there was this big whole like thing for a while, and then they resettled back at Warner Brothers.
Yeah,
because they were going to end. Because I think there was even an announcement where they had ended their relationship with Warner Brothers. I think they even made.
They come slinking back. Like, oh, hello.
So, yeah, because a lot of people forget that they were. So unless that's something to do with it, I don't know.
Yeah, well, just being vindictive, you mean, potentially?
Right, kind of like an asshole move, like, oh, that's cute. Look at the Justice League. Look what we got. You know?
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. I don't know how much, because what is it first released on Twitter, was it?
Twitter, yeah.
And the Kong versus Godzilla Twitter dropped it, and the Legendary Twitter dropped it, as far as I know. And there's probably like a Godzilla and Kong Twitter that I'm not part of that probably dropped it as well. Official ones, I have no idea.
Certainly the Legendary one.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now, yeah. I mean, it got good traction. People were loving it.
Of course, it's a great footage. That's.
But they didn't release it on... I still haven't seen it actually released on Warner Brothers or even the HBO Max. So that seems to imply that it was completely different, completely separate.
Interesting.
The Justice League one is up on HBO Max.
Well, yeah, because that's first, and they're pushing that first. Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas this one has not been re-uploaded to HBO Max. It's just on Legendary's things. So it does imply that it's separate. Again, to a degree, we still don't know whether Warner Brothers were like, oh, hey, we're going to be really vindictive little shits right here and go, can you please release this just for us? Ha ha ha. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Which is, again, is absolutely a possibility.
It's one that I would, until Until otherwise is proven, it's the one I'm inclined to believe.
Mm.
Legendary also has a lot of ties with Nolan.
What ties do they have with Nolan?
Well, let's see here. They've got what they did Inception.
Is it a co-financing deal?
Dark Knight Rises. I'm assuming all the Dark Knight movies.
Sounds like a...
Sorry, I'm munching a little bit here. I haven't had a chance to eat today.
fuck's sake. Well, whilst you're doing that, Jez Wells sends £5 to keep the lights on. Thank you. Chaps, let's face it. The best part of Justice League was Joss Whedon's lingering butt shots on Gal Gadot. Let's hope Zack hasn't edited them out. I don't know whether... look, Gal Gadot's smoking hot. Like, she's disgustingly attractive. But I can't remember whether Zack has any like a penchant for doing stuff like that. I remember, what was it?
Interstellar as well.
Sucker Punch? Was it Sucker Punch? That had
Sucker
quite a lot
Punch,
of scantily clad women.
I never saw
around.
it.
It's not his best movie, but the women were hot on it, I guess. That's kind of my rough review. 5-second review. Oh dear. Acrobatic Jesus says return to Monkey. I think that's what that's supposed to be, but thank you. I don't know. I'd be interested to see. What's your betting on all of this? What's your betting on what one's going to do better? Because earlier on when I was discussing Snyder Cut, I was like, no, as in between Godzilla vs. Kong and the Snyder Cut.
Kong.
Oh, that is your answer.
Yeah, Kong.
Why? Why do you think that?
Because I think it has the more mass appeal, whereas the Snyder Cut is inherently niche. Because it has a very, very loyal fan base. And I'm really, really happy that justice is done. And I think that this is justice that is done, both to the fans, to Snyder, to the movie-going public in general, to history and all of that. But I also think that Godzilla vs. Kong is the one that has the larger mass appeal. Yeah,
well, I think you only have to look at the trailer reactions, the viewerships and things like that to see that there is a bigger, wider appeal to Godzilla vs. Kong at the moment. I think a lot of people will undoubtedly think that they've already seen Justice League because they've seen a version of it. And then I think that they will probably look at the 4-hour runtime. And I think a lot of people will be put off by that, even if they are at home. Never underestimate. That's a bloody long time for people to be sat around watching a movie. You'll be really invested in that franchise to sit down for 4 hours.
No, I think you're right on your original assessment with that, Mr. H, that a lot of people in the normies are just going to look at it and go, nope. Like, because they didn't like BBS and they're definitely not going to like this.
Well, never underestimate that a lot of those people would have watched the first Justice League and wouldn't have liked that either. So they're going to go, well, why am I going to watch 4-hour fucking...
Besides that is what I was saying. Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying too. That the appeal is instantly much more limited. So I do believe that Godzilla vs. Kong is gonna win handily in a popularity contest between the two.
Yeah.
Or like in terms of reviews and even in the box office, whatever there may be. Yeah. Although in terms of physical media sales, I wouldn't be surprised if the Snyder Cut actually wins out.
I don't know on that either, but
I do think that Monsterverse has done pretty well on Blu-rays. In fairness,
well, then not even not even that then.
Yeah, Evil Alex. This is a very, very inaccurate statement to make, saying that the fan base is way bigger than Godzilla vs. Kong. 4 years fan base versus a month. Godzilla vs. Kong has, I don't know, what is it, like 60 odd years? Godzilla, 60 odd years of fan bases. Yeah. It is a, never underestimate that. It's not been going for a month, my dude. That's a really disingenuous statement to make.
No, in his,
go ahead.
In his defense, though, I do believe that he's a countryman of mine, and Godzilla, for the most part, is completely unknown. I mean, seriously,
in your area.
yeah, seriously,
Okay.
most people in Norway, when the 2014 Godzilla came out, everyone knew it was a remake, but everyone thought it was a remake of the original Godzilla. You know, the one from 1997.
Yeah, don't say it's the original one, dude. Oh my god.
No, but that's
People are
what
gonna
people.
reach
That's what
slap
people
you.
here believe. People, I know better, obviously. But if you go to the average Norwegian, they don't have any clue that Godzilla extends back further than the remake from the 90s.
Well, he has
But
clarified, in fairness, just to give him his fair shot. So he says, "I mean for that film, not the MonsterVerse." But that's the thing.
Yeah.
They are fans of. They will watch it because they're fans. That's the thing, and you never underestimate the fact that Kong has been around since the 40s, which
not just that.
John Davies
exactly
said.
Because here's the thing:
it is bigger, wider name recognition, unfortunately, and that it's not. It's.
Well, I'll give you a few things. First of all, the original King Kong versus Godzilla, I believe, is the highest grossing Godzilla film besides the newer one that just come out here a couple of years back, Shin Godzilla. And not only that, the newest MonsterVerse thing, and we had this conversation before, Mr. H, where the film didn't like blow up the box office like the superhero films did, but I've noticed already that it is still on the shelf at Walmart, which says a lot because those movies get moved around pretty quickly into the bin. Like if they ain't selling, they get chucked pretty quick. And it's Godzilla, the King of the Monsters, has been a mainstay in the $14.99 level. Not only that, the toy section for the last few years has had one of the bigger sections committed to the Godzilla Kong universe stuff. So I can tell right away, like kids are buying the toys, the movies are selling, and it's one of those things where you're right. Like DC is a whole different conversation, but Snyder Cut is a niche thing. It's a very niche thing. And one thing that a lot of the Snyder fans have a problem with, and I get this, is they have this hard time understanding that there's a reason we got to this place in the first place. The general audience turned on the DCEU. Yes, it had its fans. But for the most part, the normies were just like, I'm not buying into this. And that's why it failed.
Yeah, it didn't appeal to the larger populace. It just didn't. Also, and I do think that, again, people have had, unfortunately, a bit of a rose-tinted sort of outlook on it, which is a shame, really, because you're sort of shifting the blame around and people don't better themselves, as filmmakers and storytellers, and the studio doesn't improve. Like, you want a better product, so you can't just shift it around and be like, oh no, it's not because of that, it's just because of Justice League, that was just bad. No. It'd been on a big steady decline. It hadn't been excelling as much as it should have done. And that's the thing, like, it actually should be a massive success. Like, we should have multiple Superman movies by now, because Superman's fucking huge character, huge.
No, because there's like the thing that Godzilla versus Kong also, it's a movie that's going to unite everyone who is a fan of even one of the characters. I mean, the fans of the MonsterVerse, the fan of Godzilla who aren't fans of the MonsterVerse, the fans of King Kong that didn't even care about Kong Skull Island, or let alone Godzilla. This is a movie kind of like the Avengers in a way, where even if you weren't a fan of Thor, but you liked Captain America, even if you didn't like Captain America, but you liked Iron Man, you're going to show up for the Avengers. This has the same thing going for it. This has several different fan bases showing up, whereas those champion for the Snyder Cut, I'm very, very happy that the movie is made. I'm very happy that it's coming. That's good, just, and well. It should be like so. But really, the hardcore fans, they are very hardcore, and they have been very, very active for a very long time. They are not that many in the bigger scheme of things. They are certainly outnumbered by the combined Godzilla, Kong, and MonsterVerse fans.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting some pushback on that, saying that the Snyder Cut isn't niche at all. But John Paul, like you have an avatar of Darkseid. You're also using the phrase the Snyder Cut. Just that phrase alone. If I went down into my local town and said, "Do you know what the Snyder Cut is?" to random passers-by, not many of them would know, dude.
No,
like,
not many know the controversy behind the scenes and all that stuff.
Yeah, people just won't know. But if I said, do you know what Godzilla versus Kong is, or do you know what Kong is and Godzilla is? A lot of people will go, "Oh yeah, I know that." You see, there'll be a lot of people that will just drift into that movie because of the name recognition. But again, you got to remember, people know that the Justice League happened. They've seen the film. In those people's heads, they think that they've seen this film, and a lot of them didn't like it. So again, I know that they're going to get some pushback on this either way, because I know there'll be a lot of people that are just going to bury their head in the sand and they don't care.
Well, yeah, I don't even know if it's so much I'm hearing of the head of the sand. If you mean the one side of the fan base, maybe, yes. I mean, as far as people go, they just don't care. This is not on their radar. It's not something they give a shit about.
Again, I think John Paul's still saying it's not niche anymore because apparently it had 20 million views in 24 hours. On the HBO Max, it only has HBO Max's channel only has 11 million views, dude. It doesn't have that many. And again, remember, just that phrase, Snyder Cut, it is a niche. Like, it is. I know we won't agree, so we'll agree to disagree, dude. I'm not saying I want it to do bad. It seems very strange that you're being the level of pedantism that you're having over this.
Well, it kind of goes to the point we were saying earlier, I think.
Well, again, it is. It is.
But you all brought up. Oh, go ahead.
No, well, I actually did this guy's message, so that's why I'm a bit. I read out your message, dude, because I even read Acrobatic Jesus. So. I think you missed it. No, I did. I did actually read out your message. Sorry, dude. I don't know what happened there.
Well, no, I want to bring up a point you brought up earlier that was a pretty solid point, and that is Kong. Kong is bigger than a lot of people give him credit for. You go back and look at Kong has like almost 2 decades on Godzilla to begin with. And then you add in the fact that every single Kong movie that ever came out.
It's nearly had a century.
Yeah. Well, just in general. Well, it was because Godzilla came out like the movie came out like almost 20 years after the original Kong. But every single Kong movie besides Kong Lives has been a huge box office success. Like, not just on a lower level success either. We're talking about and the original King Kong changed movies forever. Like, it was the Star Wars of its time as far as special effects wise, because nobody had seen that shit before. People thought they actually had a real ape on screen. Like, they brought him into the studio. Like, they thought this was all. They had no idea how they did this stuff.
Yeah, it was mind blowing.
Yeah,
it was 1933.
Yeah,
so again, like, it's nearly a century old.
Yeah.
So again, like, you can't underestimate that. Like, it's been around for just so long.
No, Kong is very recognizable, and I even had to remind Andre how big Kong is in America. I'm like, dude, Kong's
huge. Well, again, that's why I say, like, I'm biased towards Godzilla, but even I can sit here and go, well, Kong is the most recognizable. He is the reason why a lot of people go and watch this movie, because that's the truth. Like, it's the highest grossing MonsterVerse movie, Kong Skull Island. The evidence is there alone, just right there. Ed Carone says, typical Snyder fans already making dozens of excuses for bad scenes, claiming bias, saying people just don't want to see it, so they bash it.
I hope the movie's good, Ed, and I hope a lot of fans will accept that, but there is a faction of the fan base that just will not listen to anybody's criticism.
Well, so that goes to what I was saying when I did my trailer discussion. I objectively compared one scene with Cyborg with another, and I was like, this CG's crap, like, it's garbage. And like, here's the other one, which is good. And people were like, no, it's just your opinion. I'm like, no, objectively, side by side, one is good and one is bad. Like, you can see the difference. Like, objectively, it's bad. Doesn't look like it's even rendered now. And you again, people, like, you can't be like, definitely review it on its merits and things like that, but like, it helps people being an actual critique of it. Like, it does help people, because otherwise people are just going to think that this is what you want, and that's not good in the long run either. Because if it's not actually that good in certain, with certain elements like CG or whatever, it could be anything, but then you sing its praises and you think it's great, then unfortunately people will go, yeah, more of this then, and you'll tune out from it eventually if you're just hiding behind your sort of, fandom, sort of hype for it all. Luke Fremlin says Team Godzilla, Miss H give Attack on Titan a go. I used to watch Attack on Titan. I quite enjoyed it. And then I tuned out. I can't remember why I tuned out. But I did enjoy it from what I used to watch. So any more sort of input on any of that stuff?
No, I can see that there's a point for the fandom to be made, but I think people do underestimate the appeal of the MonsterVerse as it is, not just in the films that we got now, but as a whole as well. So that cannot be underestimated at all.
Yeah. And also as well, never underestimate the fact that, I mean, this isn't like it's only available on HBO Max. HBO Max isn't across the world. So that's not good either, guys.
Well,
whereas Godzilla vs. Kong is actually getting a theatrical release. So, that does matter a lot, actually. We're not even covered that.
Yeah,
not even covered that. I mean, that's quite a big one, to be fair.
There is a cloud over the Justice League thing because, like Hamada and other people have made it pretty well known that this is kind of like a dead end. So unless it's like some massive success beyond their wildest dreams, I'm not so sure we're going to see much more out of this. And it's not by any means any kind of bias or how I feel about it or anything like that. This is things that have been said in the press. And even Zack Snyder himself at this point has said that he does not necessarily see this, going any farther than this. So like I said, unless it's worth them to, pony up the money and keep it going, then that's the only way it's going to be it's going to continue is if this is successful.
Exactly. That's like the thing that it has to work. It has to drive subscribers to HBO Max. If it does that in sufficient numbers that they can trace to Justice League, well, then we are going to get a continuation of the Snyderverse in one shape or another. And if it isn't sufficient enough, well, then Warner will pop the champagne and continue with what they were doing.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I think it's going to be difficult to quantify it as a success when HBO Max is not rolled out across the world, and then you've got...
They'll look at domestic numbers, and that's what they'll consider.
Yeah, true. But again, look, I think Godzilla vs. Kong, just on that premise, will undoubtedly be in front of more people. Of course it will.
For sure.
There'll be more people watching it. So unless for some weird reason the people that are on HBO Max don't watch it, then it could be a failure, I guess. But I can't see that happening anyway either. But yeah. Finbar White drops on and says, do you think June will get the same hype as Kong versus Godzilla, etc.? Will it be classed as a success if it doesn't get the same numbers? Well, it has sort of disappeared, hasn't it? June was sort of around, we're talking about it and stuff, but I mean, they've pushed it back now, haven't they? So, what do you think, in fairness? I was really hopeful for this one. I was massively hopeful for it. And then I looked at the trailer views and I was like, yeah, this is doing pretty well, much better than I thought it was going to be doing.
Yeah.
This is going to be great. But now I don't know, I guess. What do you think?
I think that Godzilla vs. Kong is probably going to be more successful than Dune because
wider appeal for one.
Wider appeal and a slightly more like it's not a feel good movie per se. No, it's going to be less of a dour movie. Like Dune is the more dour of the two. Yeah, I think that Dune is going to be. I think they're all going to be successful relative to being a primarily online release. But I think that they're all washouts in that sense. But I do think that. Godzilla vs. Kong is going to be the one that drives more traffic. And as it is right now, that is the measure of success.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, Dune is kind of more of a niche property, as we were talking about niche properties. But I noticed the thing with the trailer, like you did, Mr. H, how it was basically tracking better than the Batman trailer with Pattinson.
I know that was
Um,
really, really surprising.
and
Genuinely.
really, again, if you want to compare Dune to, like, say, things like the Snyder Cut, how that's being how much attention that's getting compared to things like Godzilla versus Kong, that doesn't bode well for the Snyder Cut, but it does bode a
Careful,
little bit
you'll
better for
upset
Dune.
people now.
I know they're not going to like it, but hey, I've spent
Uh,
all morning being nice to the Snyder Cut. Now's my time to actually let loose on it a little bit. Because you know what, really, you know what? Since I know you're not going to give a shit, you know, the part that pissed me off more than anything about that trailer, it actually pissed me off. That's why I didn't really pay much attention to it after it. Because there's
Right.
that fucking line in there where he goes, "You were brought here for a reason, and I don't know what it is. Even if you spend the rest of your life finding out what it is." I've spent the last however many years since Man of Steel come out, get called an asshole and a boomer, and I can't get out of the past because I've said this is not fucking Superman. And then they have a line directly from the original film that is the epitome of Superman. It's like, fuck you, movie, fuck you, stupid trailer. I was pissed. I was genuinely pissed at because Andre
dear,
almost
oh
called
dear.
off our live stream yesterday because of that. I don't know if he wants me to tell that, but no, I'm like, I ain't got nothing nice to say about this trailer right now. I'm pissed. He's like, why? Nobody's gonna give a shit but you. It's like,
Well, but it matters. Like, if you had an issue with it, I guess, in the first film. And
no,
then
he's
you do it
right.
now
Though. Nobody
and
gives
stuff,
a shit but me, but still.
Yeah, I'm like, of all the things to throw your pant into,
I
bunch
quite
it
like the
out.
callback, to be fair. Like, I thought, that's quite
It's
nice.
great that
callback.
it's there, but you know, when you've been basically told for the last few years that you're nothing but an idiot and you just
Yeah, I
live in
mean,
the
that's
past
not
and
nice.
this is not what you want. You know, you're just mad because it's not the Superman you want, and then they literally have a line that
But so
refers to the Superman you want.
So
And
the
it's
way
like,
I saw it, though, was that because that line is when they're laying him in the bath to get resurrected. I was like, not the bath, but you know what I mean, the water, that tank shit. I was like, oh, now he's going to be reborn into what he's supposed to be. That's what I was thinking that line pertains to. But I can see your point. Absolutely.
Well, that line should have been in
Mr.
the scene, and not. Oh, sorry. Before you get to Mr. Trick, I just want to say, like, that
Yeah,
line
no,
should have
please.
originally been in the first movie in the scene where he goes, "Well, what should I have done, Dad? Should I have just let him drown instead of him going, I don't know." You know, it should have been, "Look, Clark, I know you're here for a reason. It may not have been to save those kids today. It was probably for something much bigger than that."
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's where you hit the home. Then anyway, I wish I would have been able to rewrite Man of Steel. But anyway, moving
Yeah.
on. Sorry.
Mr. Tickle Trunks, thank you so much for the $5 Canadian dude. Nobody's talking about the inevitable parody of Kong versus Zilla done by Wicked Pictures. Oh my god.
Wicked pictures, huh?
I assume
Isn't
due to
that
the
Alex
emojis being
O'Brien's company or?
I don't know, dude.
I think
I
so.
assume it's a porno
Assuming
because
from
there's an
the,
aubergine in there, so I presume it's a porno. But yeah,
If we had Robin here, he would know. So.
well, I seen the I think it ended up
But,
trending on Twitter, but there was a porn parody of Brie Larson's Captain Marvel, which I swear the image ended up did it trend on Twitter or it trended somewhere because it just picked up on like a, I don't know. It was brilliant though, absolutely fantastic.
I'm sure it had a much more likable lead.
Well, it's much more attractive.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Much more. Anyway, shuffle on a little bit. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. But back to the June question, I think that's a really interesting thing to sort of.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how well it's. Did you hear about the screening that happened supposedly? I heard a rumor that there was a internal screening of the film and it went very well.
Oh,
People
internal though.
Yeah, but
Well, remember
again,
they gave
It was
BVS
for...
a standing ovation, mate. Justice League a standing ovation.
No. It wasn't internal. It was for test audiences, and the test
oh,
audience.
the
but
test
that's
audience
test
thing. Well, that's
screening
our thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
okay,
it was
I'm
getting
surprised.
pretty good ratings, and some people were comparing it to Lord. Oh, I'm just saying there was people out online talking about it, and they were comparing it to like Lord of the Rings and stuff.
They were comparing it to Fellowship of the Ring.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
And these were just like regular people seeing it. Yeah, like they saw it because it was like one of those, I believe it was one of those. Now, again, correct me if I'm wrong, Andre, because you may be more up to date on this. But it was one of those internal screenings where they actually have like friends and family come in, but they actually do a survey to get to test the waters to see how like what was the Rise of Skywalker screening that supposedly never happened. This is one of those where they bring in friends and family, so it's not an actual like public screening. You know what I mean? Kind of like they advertise it and bring in kids.
So what was it then? Was it a test screening or not? What one?
Well, it is a test screening, but it's like not like a public test screening, like where they'll talk about it out in public. Like they're never going to announce they had this test screening.
Oh, but they don't normally with the test screenings that they do.
Sometimes you can publicly find out about them. Is my point.
Well, yeah, that's because people go on Reddit and start.
Well, not just that, but like you can actually sign up for them, like to be invited to test screenings and stuff.
Yeah, but those people are under NDA because I know a large. That's how I get.
Yeah, and in my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, Andre, this wasn't one of those situations. This is where they bring in friends and family, but they actually do get out the cards and they take down what you think and all that stuff.
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. I've been meaning to research it, but I haven't gotten into it. So I've heard the results, and I know that there was screening that results have leaked from, but exactly the nature of the screening.
Okay, there was a screening for No Time to Die, but that was for the business side of things. So I heard about that, and I heard how the movie was, and I have a feeling that all our reporting on that I think was pretty much accurate. So that's all I'm going to say. They are reshooting it, and I don't think it's for the phones. It's for what we said before, because that is the dumbest excuse I've ever heard in the world to reshoot something when you can just fix it so easily with digital. You're not going to get all those people back together just to shoot a couple shots with people with phones in their hands. It makes absolutely no sense. When they can replace the guns in ET with walkie-talkies, no. 20 years ago they did that, remember?
Yeah, and we were reporting on this before there even was any.
No, and our guys told us they were going to cover it up with something. It was not going to. They were going to use something to cover up the reason why they're doing the reshoots. Is not anything to do with the story.
Quickly, I think this is a Euro, but Birdboy82, a new member of the channel, so thank you so much, says, I like how this Kong is a nice mix between the 1976 and 2005 Kong. Legendary renewed and nailed both G and K so well. They sound and look awesome. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, they are bloody good. I wouldn't say it was too much of a mix between the 2005 version, though.
Yeah, I don't quite see where he sees that, but
more of the original 30.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they even put out a NECA figure that I have here right next to me. I don't know if I can get my camera to work. Got a mess here because my camera keeps making my mic go wonky when I turn it on. So
yeah. A brand new channel member as well, Dave Savage, Fictasious. Thank you so much, dude. I replied to your email, didn't I? I think I said about dropping on a chit chat. Oh,
see that has the original head, but I can switch it out with the new Kong head. So it has the OG, so it has the OG 30. That's you can't really see it right now. Maybe if I bring it, that's the OG 33 head, and then I can switch it out with the newer Kong head.
Oh, that's quite cool.
Yeah, I like it. It's pretty cool.
Oh, decent, nice. Very, very nice. I'll tell you what. God, I can't tell anyone yet because it's not released. But speaking of like figures and things like that, I've had something made for Blackfields, and it is just a thing of pure beauty. Pure beauty. I can't reveal it on the chat yet or anything like that. Let me. I haven't spoken to you for a while on WhatsApp, have I, Andre? There you go. I'll just send it quickly to Andre.
Right, cool. Let's have a look.
That is life size.
Oh wow! Oh wow! That's awesome.
I can't see it. So.
No idea.
Looks amazing. I'll just pretend.
No, I'll send it to you as well.
It really is. It really is a work of art.
Yeah, I'm bloody pretty impressed by it, to be honest. So that was made in Canada by a prop studio that, just phenomenal. There you go, Tom. It's on your. I've sent it to you now. You can have a good look at it. Anyway, but I will show everyone eventually. Sorry, I know we're looking at something.
Cool. Are you going to have that made for like people to buy, or is that just from the?
No, I've got
That's
mate.
cool.
That is like
one of a kind kind of thing.
Yeah, a one of one.
Gotcha.
But there will be miniature figures potentially.
Oh, okay, cool. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah. That took months and months to make. It's a hard resin, so it's a proper. Yeah. Anyway,
sorry, I was laughing at something in the chat. Laura goes, "I want a Tom doll saying fuck you."
Roger Haynes drops on with a super sticker. Thank you so much. And we got Marcos A. It says, Mr. H, Andre, and Tom, can you discuss thoughts on will HBO Max have chance to catch up to Disney Plus, 95 million subscribers, with Zack Snyder's Justice League, Kong vs. Godzilla, etc.? Yeah, I mean, look, that's thank you so much for the super chat first and foremost. But yeah, I mean, look, an important. It's worth a discussion. What do you think, guys? And we also got Andy here, which we'll just drop on now as well. How you doing? It's just that is a
he's frozen.
Bad thing to freeze on. Oh, fuck it up.
He's so condescending looking. No.
Did I freeze my hair?
Yeah, you froze. Now you're back.
You more than froze. You look. That was
effed everything up.
That was awful, mate.
Hello, Andy.
Say, right. Anyway,
I want to say thanks to
Andy
Marcus.
Here.
That's my man Marcus in there giving that super chat. Love him. He's a big funder over mine. Good to see so many people in here. Good. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely welcome. So yeah, I mean, good question which we can all chip in on. To be honest, will HBO Max have the chance of catching up to Disney? Yeah, due to their entire slate that they decided to rip from the theaters, I do think that they actually have a chance. Disney doesn't have anywhere near as much of the big sort of tentpole based movie properties. They're more focused on their streaming, the series and things like that. But they've already said we're not looking to get Black Widow on Disney Plus and theatrical. They've pretty much confirmed that anyway. So I think that HBO Max does have a chance. But again, your thoughts, ladies and gents. Well, there's no ladies here, but ladies in the chat, I guess. Whatever. Fuck it.
I think that they absolutely have a very good shot at doing it, but to retain it, what kind of children's programming do they have? Because here's like the thing: the beauty with Disney Plus is that they have so much for kids that every parent that needs something to keep their kids occupied and out of their way are going to go with Disney Plus and keep it for the long term. Because it's such like a good nanny for the kids. I
can somewhat answer that.
What does HBO Max have to compete with?
Well, go on, Tom. What are they?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the first of all, you have to address the problem. That is HBO Max totally fucked up their launch, and then
it was terrible.
The other snafu goes into the next part of the problem is the navigation on the site. They actually have a shit ton of family entertainment on there. The problem is the way the site is set up. It takes 20 fucking leaps and bounds to get anywhere to anything. But they've got Cartoon Network, they've got Boomerang, they've got almost 70 years of fucking animation. Yeah, you've got Looney Tunes out there. You've got
forgive me to interrupt because I don't
all that stuff.
Just to clarify, so that's all under the HBO Max umbrella now, is it?
Yes.
So that's what they're sort of compiling it. Okay, I didn't know that.
They fucked up and they put it under this weird thing where you're like, okay, because they actually have a shit ton of wonderful, great fucking movies on there too. But you have to go to the Turner Classic Movies section or the HBO section or this other section to get to them, and it's really
surely it should just be under HBO Max movies.
They don't have like an all kind of thing. Yeah, it's really their setup is all fucked up, and that's because they don't want to pay Netflix probably for the fucking.
I'll tell you what. Is this almost like a perspective of like Steam versus Epic? You know how Epic launched and people were like it's super cheap, but the layout's garbage. It looks like shit. It's hard to navigate. Is it similar to that in terms of HBO Max? Is just shit to navigate.
It could be. I've never actually used Epic, so I can't really compare the two. But like, I don't know. Didn't Disney pay Netflix for their layout deal? Because that's the whole thing with these streaming services. Because like Hulu had that problem
But also
initially.
algorithm
too.
as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what went down, but otherwise, like that's what the thing is. They're either a slave to paying Netflix for because Netflix went and patented the layout kind of deal and all that kind of crap. So like all these streaming services are trying to come up with their own versions, and they're just, it's taking them that long to come to the game because Netflix has, decades worth of, stuff behind.
They've refined it over such a long period of time, and it works as well.
And I'm curious to hear what Andy has to say about this, but yeah, because he sounds like he understands exactly what I'm saying. Is that there's a plethora of stuff on here to get through, but if you don't know how to find it, you're screwed. But there's tons of shit for kids, tons and tons of shit for kids.
Well, yeah, go on, Andy. What's your input on that?
Yeah, I mean, like I have a 2-year-old, and it takes me an hour to find Sesame Street, and it's like I end up just going to Netflix with their navigation. It's easier quickly to show him something when I need to put something on. But it's like, and then when you go to look for Sesame Street, it's got 50 seasons. And so it's like, when you go there, you got to go, do I have to scroll through the classics, which it's like, I want them to see like the new Sesame Street, and they don't have like easy navigation of that there. The whole system on that, I'm telling you, there's so many like old movies that just, I'm old. I mean, 90s, they're 2000, like put in their cycle. Netflix does such a good job going there and sort of cycling them in and out. I have an endless supply of options, and for the past since its launch, HBO Max has still not updated that sort of format to like get the content there. That homepage is awful, but so yeah, he's totally right. There's so much deeper in the cut, like just the Turner Classic Movies sections. The fact that they have Singing in the Rain and a bunch of other stuff that might actually be appealing to certain people. They're like, hey, I never saw that. It's never there. So much and so many and shows, like so many shows, unless they do a reboot like Friends, you don't hear about it on that platform. But to echo what you said, yeah, I don't know the patents. I'd be curious. My system is being all slow. I might have to duck out. It's a little wonky, but what I was going to say is I'm curious of that because it is weird. Disney seems to have figured it out. I know when we did Screen Junkies Plus, which was our failed attempt at a streaming service back in the day, designing that the cues as they call, and we ended up getting a developer who did do a similar, like much better navigation and layout scheme that we didn't have to pay for it, but it was similar for sure. But getting the algorithm to sort of make its recommendations and all that stuff, I think that might be patent. In which case, that's sort of what we all are expecting, like that recommendation filter that Netflix has been working on forever. I'm sure it's complicated programming, but you'd think AT&T have the capability to work that out, and that's not a priority, it seems, which is frustrating.
Yeah, that's my biggest gripe with it is it's not the content at all, because there's tons and tons of content. It's the navigation and getting to that content and how it's all separated. Even the DC stuff is separated out and all this other stuff. So it's really kind of odd how it's kind of placed. But if they can get that worked out, if they can get like 4K and other things, because that's the other thing, since they're AT&T, they've had issues getting on, what was it, the Fire Stick and some other things, I think it was originally.
Say that again. What?
AT&T, since they have such a bad relationship with some of these other companies, like they were having issues being carried on. What was it, the Roku and the Fire Stick or something like that as well? Like the app on there or something. So yeah. So they're just finally getting themselves into more homes. And I agree with Andre. The big thing is going to be retaining. Are they going to be able to retain people?
Yeah. So getting back to the core question at hand was, will it have the chance of competing with Disney Plus? Absolutely. I think there's so many things that they're releasing. Not that I approve of that, because I like the movie going experience and I want to go to theaters. So I understand people are conflicted on that. I get it. But they're releasing so many things that absolutely they will have the chance of reaching that. I mean, do we know what they're up to now? With the subscribers, or have they revealed?
They were last I knew up to around 40 million. They had reported that.
When was that?
That was the end of last year, and that was the thing. They did report they had a surge for Wonder Woman, but they didn't give any numbers that I recall offhand. And like that's all I can find is like reports from like October and December.
Yeah, January they're saying it's 37.7 million.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, from like late last year, that's the numbers they got. And I'm willing to bet from Wonder Woman, they went up pretty good. And then after the Kong versus Godzilla, that went and boosted it a bit, and so did the Snyder cut. So there you go, Snyder fans. I'm sure that
no,
helped.
hold on, no, a little bit different. So more than 41 million apparently. AT&T seeing John's thing, he said. So 41 million apparently.
Yeah, but see, we're always about a month or two behind on these number reports. That's the other thing we got to remember.
Yeah.
And we're so I don't even think we've seen the numbers yet from what I'm curious to see what Wonder Woman generated. That's what I want to see.
That's part of that numbers, but then they're not wanting that many, dude. The company has said it hopes to reach 50 million to 55 million HBO Max customers in the US by 2025. That's fucking slow growth, isn't it?
That's lowballed. That's incredibly.
Well, not only that, they cost
real
twice as
lowball.
much. They also cost twice as much as Disney as well, though. So they probably don't need as many subscribers because their price is already set at a higher price point.
Yeah, well, that's true. But they're offering. Are they offering more? Seem to be offering more.
In a way, they are, and that's the thing is if they could get their navigation system down, if they could get a few things upgraded and updated. That's the other thing. They're a year and a half behind Disney as far as even getting it launched originally. So again, the numbers aren't so bad, and we already know what the kind of numbers they need to keep one of these things active, and that's basically where Netflix is now, and that's 200 million at least for a $9 to $10 billion operating.
Quick super chat here. We got Tanner Lashid, I think. Sorry if I butchered that, dude. Or woman. Don't want to misgender. And that's not a joke. I'm genuinely not being sarcastic. I've grown to like the Asunder movies after hating them. What are they?
I've heard of them, but I'm not familiar.
I've never even heard of them. What the hell is that? At least they aren't cookie cutter, which is all we're getting nowadays. Well, I'll tell you what, just to go off on a bit of a tangent, because I did a report on it. Thank you so much. I'm actually going to look into the Asunder things, or you can email me a link to them, mistakesreviews@gmail.com. They've just announced their fucking Paranormal Activity reboot. And I don't want to hate on it too much, because it's with a fantastic director, which I had on the channel. But I just think, God damn, what are you doing? Paranormal Activity reboot.
Already?
Can't we just see the story continue from the last one?
No, they're retooling it. Apparently, it's a complete rework.
Yeah, that's
with,
what
William Eubank, the guy who did Underwater.
What I figured. But why can't they just continue from where the story left off? Seriously, I hope they continue from where it left off. Because if you've seen all of them, then you'll see that the final one, it ended like that chapter of the story, but it opened a whole other story.
Tanner actually meant the Snyder movies. Sorry. So no, they are somewhat unique. Yeah, I get that. But yeah, no, going back to this bloody fucking Paranormal Activity reboot, like.
I never watched the original, but I know it's one of the most profitable movies of all time. I know that
it is because it was made on nothing, and it made so much money. It was crazy. So they're doing it. Oh, I don't know. I don't want to hate it because it's with William Eubank, guy who did Underwater, and he's a good guy. I like him. I've interviewed him, but I've also spoken to him several times, just on chit chat. Like he's a nice guy. He's a good dude. And I like to see people that are good do well, and he's one of those people. Like I want him to do well, but I also feel like he's going to be wasted on this property because he did so well on his own films that he's done. They're very, very good, and this feels like it is just going to be a bit lame, really. Like an epic retooling. It's like, okay, but
how do you
what does that even
it?
mean?
Exactly.
Well, yeah. Is it just going to be jump scares again? Like, I don't want
like a big budget version of it because that's like that didn't work out well for Blair Witch 2.
They won't give him a big budget because he didn't make his last movie.
That's what I'm curious.
Underwater.
That's the question, yeah. So
it can't be a big budget because his last movie didn't do particularly well. I mean, obviously it was released and then we had the pandemic and stuff. It did better on home release. and it had a good resurgence on downloads and things like that. But they won't give him a massive budget. But I also feel like this is potentially relegating him to, I don't know, just low budget crap as well for the future, which is a shame, really.
Yeah, here's like the thing that with the first Paranormal Activity, that was like kind of like the studio saw that as a proof of concept, and it wasn't until Steven Spielberg gave his approval that they decided that, you know what, we're not going to remake this, we're going to release this proof of concept as it is because it's good enough. So I see this as one of the two things. Either they're essentially remaking it, doing the kind of movie that they were seriously considering putting out for a while there, or they're continuing the story. I seriously hope that they're continuing the story.
It's supposed to be
much cooler.
It's supposed to be a complete reboot of the franchise, retooling, completely different. So yeah, bit lame. Not a fan.
Did you like any of the sequels?
Me? The sequels?
Did anybody like any sequels? Because I never got into the franchise. I liked the first one for its creativity.
I watched 3 of them. I think.
Yeah.
Are there 5 now? I've even lost count.
No, there's more. I think there's like six or 7 plus an unofficial one. The good ones are the first one, and the third one are the really good ones.
Well, it's actually got one of the writers of those movies on there as well. Let me have a look. Apparently, Hollywood Report was bitching out.
Christopher Landon is who's on the writing credit on the new remake.
Yeah, and he has written some of the other ones.
The Masked ones, and Happy Death Day to You.
Yeah, but he did a few of the paranormal ones.
He did 2, 3, and 4, and 5. Yep.
Yeah,
so weird. It's weird to get the writer to. I guess I'm trying to think of a writer who's actually rebooted his own movie. I mean, Scream's about to do that too.
Yeah, true. Well, they also had the original writer for Wrong Turn come back and reboot that recently.
Fuck
Wrong
Scream
Turn,
5.
The Foundation.
Leave it alone. Wes is dead. 4 was enough. 4 was a perfect ending to that shit. That we do not need another one. I don't know. Sorry, that's just a personal thing with me. And I know Andre hates the Scream movies, so
I mean, I'm not a fan of them. I'm not a fan of them, and I don't like them because in my eyes, they ruined horror.
Yeah, there's an argument to be made for that, definitely.
Well, they did. You speak to anyone that was in the horror,
conceding that, definitely.
Like the horror genre in the industry of the time, they were like, "Yeah, we'll just make that. Why would we spend money on this epic horror feature where we could just get some guy running around killing people for like 10 million or whatever it was, tiny budgets, and we can make loads of money? Fuck it." Like, that's so boring.
I remember that was my exact thought when I first saw that movie. I was like thinking, oh shit, this is the end of Hellraiser, Freddy, all that cool modern monster. And it was. And I hated for it. It wasn't even that good a movie. I can't stand Scream.
I understand, I totally understand that feeling. I enjoyed the first 3 films. The 4th one's kind of whatever. But again, I also know, and I cannot argue with it, and I have actually made the point that it ruined horror. So, yeah, I can't argue with that at all. I don't know about Andy, but...
I mean, I would argue some of those movies' sequels already ruined horror before Scream got there, too. Like, what's the Halloween with Busta Rhymes?
That was way after horror. After Scream,
I guess, I'm trying to remember my timeline of it, but... Not all of the sequels have been worthy, but yeah, I liked the first Scream, but it became clear that the gimmick was more important, and then they just ran into that, and then it all became scary movies and then parody movies. I mean, making a parody of Scream, which was a parody of horror movies, just no one even got the own joke. It became too meta, I think, and that's where horror movies also lost me.
Absolutely. I can't argue with that at all. Yeah.
It's like the new one. Did you guys watch Vince Vaughn's, which I didn't like it. Everyone was telling me, oh, it's not bad.
Oh,
it was like a body swap.
Yeah. Freaky.
Yes. I was so disappointed.
No, but I know what it is. Oh, I don't want to see it then.
Well, it's just a Freaky Friday with horror. That's all
it was so lazy. Like, they didn't even creatively use the genre. Did you like it?
I haven't seen it. I watched the
haven't seen
trailer
it
and I
yet.
was like, the woman looks hot. Well, I'll give it that credit. I never got around to it.
The only movies that I've seen of that like shared universe is the first like Happy Death Day, and I say shared thing
I
because they're
didn't.
all
I
the same.
didn't
They're all
hate
in
that.
the same
Didn't
continuity.
hate
I
Happy
love
Death
that
Day.
movie. Yeah,
it's good.
because that's actually a shared continuity with Freaky, and the next one is going to be like a Happy Death Day Freaky crossover.
Yeah, I could run with that.
Did you guys like Final Destination?
Yeah, I was
Yes.
going to actually point out that was
Yeah,
one of
they're
the
not bad.
one of the few that got through the cracks after Scream, that even though it suffers from some of the Screamisms, it actually, to me, was one of the last original horror films of that era. Like, it actually had one of the last original kind of ideas to run with. And it was like, well, what do you do if you can't really, we've done all these, masked murderers and all this kind of stuff. You had Freddy. Well, what's best? A villain you literally cannot see. Like,
Yeah.
itself, you can't see. You know what I mean? Like, it
I
was
quite like that. Like,
yeah.
it wasn't a bad concept at all. Yeah, didn't hate them at all. They're pretty decent. But I'm a massive
but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a huge creature feature fan anyway. So see sort of underwater. Like, again, I've praised Underwater so many times, but then
I like it too. Yeah. It surprised me. I didn't think it was going to spoiler alert at the end. Well, I won't say it, but at the end, I thought, wow, it really went there. I was surprised.
Well, no, I mean, if most people watch because I interviewed the director, so I had it come. Any of the articles that came out online was from my interview with him, where he was like, "Yeah, no, that's absolutely Cthulhu. This is the plan. This is this. Blah blah blah." Fucking people bloody citing my fucking bitches. But yeah, no, it's good. But I'm a big fan of creature features anyway. So, but yeah, horror. I mean, horror's been on a huge decline. We could do a live stream just about horror, to be fair. But this is an interesting comment. Bayo, butchering that. Antlers is one I'm actually hyped for. Yeah, but I still don't know where that's coming out. It was pushed all over the place. It was going to be released this month, actually. It was going to release last year originally in theaters, then it was pushed to February this month, and now I don't know when. I don't know what's happening to it. Does anyone have any idea what's going on with that?
No, I mean, I'm googling it because I'm wondering. I haven't heard.
It looks great. Also, just me commenting on whether a woman is hot or not doesn't mean I need to get laid. I got laid last night. I'm good. All right. I can run about and comment on attractiveness of women whilst also getting laid. It's okay. I think that's called being a red-blooded male. It's all right.
Don't admit to thinking of other women while you're getting laid.
No, not unless you're dealing with someone especially freaky. Then
yeah, I was gonna say. Then you don't, unless you want to sleep alone that night.
yeah, true. No, you'd never sleep alone when you got Jasper.
Oh, that's true, Jasper. Well, why do you think I have Sadie? I got to have my pups. They never go away. They're always loyal, no matter what. So,
Marshmallow drops on for £5. Says the concept and story for the Alien fan film called The Message is superb and well worth investigating. Yeah, I think you said this before actually, but I think you said it was like too long, like an hour or something like that. I don't have time for that, unfortunately. I will check it out. I'll have a look. But yeah, Antlers. I'm really looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to Antlers. Wendigo and things like that. Again, just super cool. And I was really impressed with. I was really impressed with the trailers for Antlers because it looked so beautifully shot. Really beautifully shot.
Well, he's the director, Scott Cooper, is not a horror guy at all. So it's kind of fascinating. Like, have you ever seen Crazy Heart, his movie with Jeff Bridges? It's like a total like character study drama about like a country singer, but shot beautifully, acted beautifully. Like, and I was looking at he did Out of the Furnace and Hostiles with Christian Bale, and he did Black Mass with Johnny Depp. Like, it's interesting because he's going to bring he'll bring a new eye to it, right? Which is something I think.
But Black Mass with Johnny Depp was very tense as well. So
sure. I mean, not a horror movie, but yeah, it was tense.
Yeah, so he can clearly craft
tension. Yeah,
a lot of tension, and that look honestly. Antlers does look fantastic. It does look really good, and it's a shame because it's just disappeared. Yeah, and it seems to be going nowhere. Like, fucking release it. God damn.
I mean, it might be a good sign, right? Because I know they're holding on to A Quiet Place Part 2 because they loved it. Like audiences saw it before everything shut down. I know
we're talking about different properties with different
sure, but
studios.
it's
Antlers
like one of those
is
cheap
currently
movies.
under Disney. So
Right, but it's one of
Disney.
those cheap movies that they might seem, you know what, this would be better in a theatrical horror experience. Why rush it? There's no rush. Let's try and actually make a sleeper hit out of it than just because if they release that on streaming, no one's going to watch it. Is what I right? I mean,
I get what you're saying. I think there's been a lot of hype around it, and I think people will watch it if it's released in theaters because I think people will see it in a theatrical sort of lobby and go, "Oh, I'll have a look at that." Why not?
Hopefully, it's that, right?
Hopefully. And yeah, you are right with a Quiet Place too. Like it sort of popped up and then disappeared. So that'll be an interesting one to check out.
I've heard it's
awesome.
Quiet Place 2. I've heard off the record. I've heard is awesome. Like that. That they're gonna make sure that's in theaters because it's a theater movie and it lives up. And that's from a couple people I trust.
It's also what's the studio behind it?
John Krasinski.
No, studio. Who's the studio?
Oh, that one's oh shit, who is that? That's
is it Paramount.
I think so. Which they don't have.
They don't have a lot, so they need that to be released.
They need it to be a hit
anyway. But again, more for them holding out. You know, people have mentioned The Green Knight by A24. Again, yeah, that's another one which looks bizarre but interesting. They started a marketing ramp up for that, and then it's gone nowhere as well. Like just disappeared. But again, another one which could be released. And then there was Saint Maud, which was released in the UK because it's a UK based film, but then it had A24 releasing it in the States. They were the distributors. They bought it for stateside. But then I don't know what happened with that stateside. Did it get released in theaters or did it just drop on VOD? Guys in the States?
I don't know.
Tom?
Which movie again?
Saint Maud.
Saint Maud. Let me look.
Because I know people have watched it because they've started coming back to my review. Because obviously I watched it when it was released.
It came out. It came out 2 days ago.
Oh, okay. Well, that answers that question.
All right, yeah. I watched it months ago.
That's why I hadn't heard. Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah, and I kind of got caught up into some somewhat breaking news, even though it's not breaking because I already been saying this for a while. But hey, that was that Gina did not know anything about being fired. She was not contacted by Disney.
Oh, wow!
Like at all ever. Like even afterwards.
I would assume not afterwards, but this is just dropping from Drunk 3PO, who also has a story attached to it where her quote on the original. She must have done a interview of some type because this is coming out of this quote from her. I was in utter shock and confusion when certain people said it was anti-Semitic. Then as I went to take it down, I noticed that the image was not the same as the one people were referencing. I was honestly confused. Should I take it down or leave it up? I still don't know the answer to that question because taking it down only makes the mob attack me more. The image,
which is not wrong. The same as apologizing. Never apologize.
Yeah, the image for me was a statement that people need to stand together and rise up. Stop being so manipulated by the powers that believe they know what's best for you and play games with our lives. My heart has only ever had ultimate respect and love for the Jewish community. So there you go. Anybody who wants to twist her words anymore, that is exactly what she meant by that statement.
The people will twist it anyway.
No, I know, but
they will twist it regardless. Right. You're almost asking for it when you say something like that because they'll twist it regardless. It's just important to say here's the context from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
Honestly, it doesn't matter what she says because they're going to, as you say, they're going to twist it regardless because she is someone that they have decided they do not like. She must be destroyed, and then absolutely everything she says will be viewed through that lens with the goal of taking her down and destroying her.
Yeah, I mean, there were bot accounts all over the place. It was insane.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the point I made was also always that they already had ammunition, but she just handed them ammunition of depleted uranium by mentioning that particular event.
I still stand by what I was saying on your stream with Uche. I stand by it. Nothing's off limits, or it's all off limits. Don't fucking care.
You were, by the way, supposed to say hi from Uche.
Yeah,
we were on a massive stream with him earlier. So
I know I had a bunch of people dropping in saying why wasn't I on there? He had no one checking him.
Checking I was trying to do my best. No, you'll get your equal time, and he's reached out, I guess, to you as well. So again, like I said, he's more than interested in. He's not somebody who shies away from a conversation at all.
No, I've been more than happy to discuss things.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he would.
He does have a habit of talking over me, which is very, very frustrating. I like him much more.
Well, I think it would be better if
debate.
and here's the problem. I think that was the problem, and that's one of the reasons why I had him just today mainly. And you of course will be on again by as he has been too. So, I think that you two need together to talk about it. I don't care what channel it's on. That's your decision. This is my opinion. But then that way you both have equal time to talk to each other, and you don't have other people in the room kind of trying to add and subtract from the conversation, because that was the other problem too. And then that way you guys can talk man to man instead of it being like a group thing. Even if it's a conversation off screen, that may even be a better thing. Because Uche is a good guy, and he's more than willing to listen to people.
I don't have any ill will against the guy.
I don't think you do either, and I don't think he does either. And the same thing goes for both ways. In fact, like I said, he loves getting into debates and discussing stuff. So, I think that would be
see that. So I probably, in fairness, I probably won't ever have him on my channel to discuss something like that, because the timing has passed now.
Right, and that's
but also what you said there is somewhat concerning to me. Like, I don't like people that like to have debates, because sometimes people are contrarian just for the sake of it when they have that attitude. Like, I'm not, I don't like people that just, I like to have a debate. Like, it's confrontation, it's contrarianism, which I'm not a huge fan of. But I do have one more super chat I need to get to. Thomas K 96 says, we can all get on this, actually. What are your thoughts on Cobra Kai? I still haven't watched it. I know, Tom, you binged it and you loved it.
I don't know if binge is the word for it.
All right. Well, did you like it, though? Yeah.
I basically Cobra Kai'd my TV last night. Johnny Lawrence the hell out of that shit. So, no, not even on purpose. No, yeah, Cobra Kai is my jam for sure. Yeah.
All right. Andy, have you watched Cobra Kai?
I love it. I think it's the best Karate Kid sequel yet. They do such a respectful and creative job in using the franchise and sort of running with it. Now, it's definitely like a teen soap opera. I think a lot of people don't know it's definitely that too, but it's also it's like the CW, I would say, but it also is like a really
you're not selling it to me now, dude.
No, but I think some people aren't prepared for, like, there is some high school drama that happens in the show. I think it's better than anything on the CW. Don't get me wrong. I'm talking about thematically, but as for Karate Kid content, it's fantastic. I think I was so much more invested than I thought I would be, and I was most impressed at the respect of like figuring out every little piece of the Karate Kid movies, and even through part 2 and part 3. And I hear they're trying to get next Karate Kid is also canon in the show. They do it in a way that actually, to me, was really clever and hooked me. And it's nice and it's short, because it is a bingeable show. They're half-hour episodes. You can sort of get in pretty quick and out. But I highly recommend it, especially if you like Karate Kid. You got to see it.
Andre, have you watched it?
I have. I've seen all of it. It's fantastic. It's incredible. And I will say this as someone that don't really care about the Karate Kid. Like, I
had to disown him for a while.
It means nothing to me.
He said the Jackie Chan one was better, and I had to just not talk to him for like a day.
Yeah, but I'm serious. I like the Jackie Chan one better.
I'm kidding about the talking part.
but in any way, but Cobra Kai is fantastic. Like, it's the best thing on TV. It's the best series I've seen in years.
All right, well, I'll have to see. Well, whilst you guys were watching that, I was binging The Expanse, and they're like hour-long episodes. So it's fucking nice. Like, you got to sacrifice a lot of your life for The Expanse to get through it. I've finished it all now, by the way. I did it like a week and a half ago now, I think.
That's impressive.
Absolutely fantastic. But anyway, and then Thomas K follows it up by saying, like it or not, The Snyder Cut is a win against blue check, telling us what is a good movie and what's not. I've always said it's like I don't care. I'm not invested either way. Like I've always said actually it's good that Snyder's getting the chance to do it, just because he went through a whole bunch of crap. So it's nice that he's getting the chance to finish it. Like I'm not invested either way. I don't particularly care. So it's not a situation of like it or not. I don't dislike it or like it, quite frankly. But also remember is that the general audience has voted that Justice League wasn't a good movie. It wasn't blue check marks. Again, people often forget this. They're looking back at the past with a bit of a rose-tinted goggles going on, because it was the general audiences didn't like it. Unfortunately, it didn't do very well. I don't know if anyone else has got anything to add to that.
No, I'm glad you said it. It's true. If it had done well, they would have continued it, right? It's like it did well for a pocket of fans, for sure, a pretty large pocket of fans. But overall, I think Warner Brothers was really upset at it didn't make $1 billion. You know, how do you not make $1 billion with those heroes?
Well, but they fucking spaffed so much money.
There's only one answer to that.
600 million or something like that, wasn't it? The budget for that movie.
Well, and the thing is, to answer Andy's like kind of question there, or whatever you want to put it, is basically the answer to that is that the audience wasn't there, because most of the general audience had no clue or care that Joss Whedon was directing this one and Zack Snyder wasn't.
Correct.
They were already turned off by the last movie. They were done. And that's the same thing that happened to Star Wars. I think I brought that up earlier. Is like, after The Last Jedi, I mean, you saw a clear message from Solo, like, we're done. And then when the last movie only generated not even half of what the Force Awakens did, I don't care what anybody wants to say about, but those movies made $1 billion. Like, well, if you're losing half your audience between your first and last movie, something is wrong. Something is clearly wrong.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Like, no one is going to want let's put it this way, right? Why do you think Transformers stopped, even though they still made loads of money?
Yeah, exactly.
They stopped because they were on a massive decline, and regardless of whether they were making money or not, the studio realizes something is wrong there, and they choose to rectify it. And that's what happened with Bayformers. They were like, "Fuck this! It's only going to get worse. Let's stop it. Let's sort it out."
Just biting it, yeah, because this is Andre's domain right here.
Oh, go on, Andre, unleash.
No. Just carry on. Finish just to finish what you were saying.
I have finished. That was basically it.
Like, we're all done.
Okay. Yeah, well, I really don't have that much to add, honestly. So yeah.
Oh, Tom, you hyped it up.
That was such a hype, Tom.
Yeah, because this is your domain, man.
You let me down, Tom, mate. That's unbelievable.
Clearly, not seeing the signs of shit going downhill. That's what Midnight's Edge is all about. That's what we've always seen. Is like, hey, look, we're red flag.
Can you repeat the final thing you said one more time? As H, I'll take it from there.
Oh no, I was just saying that we're talking about movies doing progressively worse and things like that. You spoke about Star Wars, and I said it's the same thing with Michael Bay's Transformers. Why do you think they stopped them, even though they were still making money? It's because they got progressively lower and lower profit margins.
Yeah, of course. And in the case of Justice League, they spent so much money. Like, this was supposed to be their Avengers level event, and instead it turned out to be their biggest disaster ever, basically. And what made it worse, what made it so infinitely much worse, and this is why the movie remains such a raw nerve in Warner to this day, why they wanted to bury the Snyder Cut forever so that no one ever would bring it up ever again, was because in retrospect, when you saw that box office, the reason they retooled the movie with Joss Whedon and everything was in the hopes that this was going to make it $1 billion movie. So they injected, I don't know how much did that retooling cost, but loads, much more money than they ever should have spent, was spent on retooling it for Joss Whedon. And they did that hoping that this will now be a hit. It'll be $1 billion movie. And instead, it still became a complete and total disaster. And what that meant is that after the fact, it's clear that they would have been better off just releasing the Snyder Cut exactly as it was, because even if it had done exactly the same at the box office, which is unlikely, but even if it had done exactly the same, they at least would have saved themselves that immense extra cost of retooling, and they would have been better off just releasing it as it was.
Solo, yep.
That's the reason why Jeff Johns and John Berg were fired as executives. They were able to greenlight 3 movies on their watch. They weren't able to see a single one of them released before they were ousted. Because they oversaw that thing, which turned out in retrospect to be a huge mistake. But again, you have the same people that oversaw them and approved everything they did, like Roland Emmerich and stuff. They're still there, and it's just a matter of time before Jason Kilar gets to them and see, okay, so how much money did you lose the company with this whole Justice League debacle? Because now with the Snyder Cut, that's like bringing that all up again. And if this thing is a hit, relative to numbers and everything, that's only going to emphasize the point that you never should have done this retooling. But again, yeah, that's also why I think that the Snyder Cut isn't going to be that big a deal. You know what I want to compare it to?
Well,
Dredd and Judge Dredd. The movie Dredd is a great movie, and even that, the success of that was impeded by the perception of the Stallone movie, and that was a completely different movie, released more than 15 years earlier. Here we are talking about a different version of the exact same movie, released like 4 years earlier.
Yeah, the only place this has ever happened before, to my knowledge, is The Exorcist.
There's a difference, though, because people like The Exorcist.
Well, I'm talking about the beginning and Exorcist, the one that Paul Schrader did.
Oh, yeah, of course. Exorcist, the beginning. Yeah, that's the closest.
This is the closest I can ever think of anything remotely close to this ever happening before.
That is the closest. Dominion prequel to The Exorcist and The Exorcist, the beginning. That's the closest thing where you have 2 very different versions of the same movie. A movie that audiences didn't respond to all that much in the first place anyway. But yeah, that's pretty much a very similar situation. The only one, we actually had Tunnicliffe go through it in detail since he was part of that retooling, on our channel.
I've got to answer this question because it's from a member, Mr. H. How much do you bench and squat, please? Bench, you can actually see it on my Instagram, is 320 pounds, 145 kilos. Squat, not so good, to be fair. I've got long femurs, so I've got issues with my legs. So it's like, I don't know, 360, 370 pounds, I guess. Again, not massively a lot, but there you go. And then you got loads of other channel members dropping in here, agreeing with you about Dredd and such forth. So Stallone was incredible in Dredd.
No, the robot was incredible in Dredd. And Mean Machine was incredible.
Mean Machine was fantastic.
Yeah.
You've got to drop out, is that right?
Yeah, it's starting to be quite late here in my part of the.
Yeah, past midnight now, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I am absolutely. So yeah.
Well, Andre, where can people find you? Midnight's Edge and Twitter.
Yeah, well, you can find me on Midnight's Edge on YouTube, and on Twitter you can just look at the screen, and that's where you'll find me. So yeah, and Midnight's Edge will still be represented by Tom, who will still be here. Andy, always a pleasure to be on stream with you.
Good to see you, man.
And likewise, Mr. H, always a pleasure to do this every Monday. So
Monday regular guys who are here. Andre is the Monday regular on the Roundtable live streams. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. They start, and they normally go on for about 2 hours ish. So we're coming to a close here because I'm super tired as well, to be fair. So yeah, I'm shattered. My dog had me awake at 3 and then 4:30 in the morning. Fucking little shit.
Yeah.
You know, pain in
All
the
right.
ass. But anyway, Andre,
Take
peace
care,
out, dude.
everyone. Bye.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Peace out.
Yeah, bye.
So, in fairness, I think that's probably a good place to leave it. I'm pretty shattered myself. So, Tom, where can people find you, my dude?
Also, you can find me at Midnight's Edge. I also have Midnight's Edge After Dark. You can find me over there as well sometimes. Outside of that, I'm on all kinds of different streams, on all kinds of different channels.
Yeah, you are.
And I do enjoy getting to hang out with you when I can. Sorry I was a little late today, but I had to deal with the dog and a few other things. My parents showed up. And,
Terrible. Terrible stuff.
All at the same time. So, yeah.
And Andy?
Popcorn Planet's where I'm at these days. Appreciate you coming on and hope to have you on someday. I'm doing Nerd Wars. I'm gonna try and get you in there. It'd be fun to see you do it. Not be contrarian about it, but something you're into.
Nerd Wars.
Shoot me a message. I'm sure we can work something out.
But happy to be here. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, no, you're welcome. It's good to get a diverse a range of voices anyway, and I know the audience enjoys it when there's more and more people here. Conversation flows a bit better. Quick super chat before we go. Tales from the Junkyard, good car channel, guys. If you like cars, check out Tales from the Junkyard. I am actually a subscriber, believe it or not. Here is my small offering. Hail Mr. H, hail Tom, hail Andre, and hail Andy. I'm a long-time fan, so that's of you, Andy.
Thank you, man.
I hope you're well, and of course, hail the table. Well, thank you so much, dude. I hope you're all right. Guys, if you want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, please do. It's the same as this. Please do follow me on Instagram. I'm trying to get the numbers up. I'm going to post more stuff, maybe some gym stuff. I know some people are interested in that crap. I don't particularly care, but no, some people might be interested. And some car stuff and all that kind of nonsense. So please do follow me Twitter and Instagram at Mr. H Reviews. Again, I live stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Normally a little bit more alive, but again, my doggo decided that he would wake me up twice in the middle of the night, and I'm not best impressed. So such is live. But Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time it starts, and that's 9 p.m. GMT. And real quickly, Vitali says Nerd Wars with Mr. H. Yes, please. So there we go.
Yes, indeed. It's got to happen now because of Vitali.
People have spoken. I need to drop on, so I will try. But thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Go watch my Bitch Mams review. That's Batwoman, for those that aren't aware. That's what I call her.
Are the views
mate, honestly, they just bang on about fucking white privilege in this latest episode. It's horrendous. And not only do they bang on about white privilege, but they also horrendous messages for people that are in care, like the actual foster care system. It's awful. Don't watch it. It's fucking shit. It's garbage. I'm watching it.
The thing I heard from the insider because I watched the first one of the season, I couldn't do it anymore. But I heard they literally are going to be looking for Kate the whole season.
Yeah, no, that's basically what's happening.
How stupid is that? Just replace her. Just move on already. No, we have to look for Kate.
I know. So crap. But anyway, guys, thank you so much.